live and
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, history was made this weekend in Saudi Arabia. Family drama still spills over to Monday nights. And tonight, WWE/NXT Win Extreme. Welcome to episode 6 of the Sports4U Wrestling Podcast. I'm your guy, Trail. To the left is my guy, John. And joining us today, representing March with Mike's, the one and only Dallas Cash. Cash, how you doing, my brother? Thanks for joining us.
Pretty good, pretty good. Hey, thanks for having me. Shout out to Culture Clash Network, and also shout out to my co-host for the Humble Roses podcast, La Madrina, and my friends, the Mystical Creatures, Angel, Terrence, Sweet Candy, all of y'all. We here.
Yeah, shout out to the family. Shout out to the family. Speaking of family, John, how you doing, man? What's good? What's good with you?
Feeling good, my brother. Feeling good on this Wednesday night. And always good to have another brother who's just a genius when it comes to talking wrestling into the circle. So Cash, again, thanks, man. Again, shout out to the whole Martian Mice and Culture Class fam. Shout out to JT, shout out to Cheech. Obviously, shout out to your co-host Nessa. And we just glad that this is the beginning of a good business relationship, talking wrestling and even in other things. So let's go, Trail. Telling you, my brother.
Yeah, let's get into it, man. Like I was mentioning at the top of the show, history was made this past weekend up in Saudi. We had Crown Jewel, and I'm just gonna pretty much just start up the rip. The show actually opened up with the Bloodline family squabble as Roman Reigns and the Usos, which, by the way, the fact that Roman Reigns got his entrance before Jey Uso, that alone spoke volumes to me, because it's like Jey told Jimmy, is that, hey man, when we do this, we ain't no one's lackeys no more. So when he said he's the star, he damn near meant it, because both his brother and Roman Reigns came out together. Jey Uso came out from the crowd, and Roman just sitting there like, all right, little nigga, all right, I see what's going on here. Like, well, respect. So he pretty much showed up the tribal chief, so to speak. So what did you guys think of that, man? Like, Cash, what did you think that Jey pretty much proved to the world that I'm the future, I'm the now?
Well, that's a great question. Let me just take you guys back to Hell in a Cell 2020, right? You know what happened between Roman and Jey. Obviously,
Yep.
Roman went over very strong. Jey became the right-hand man later down the line, right? So if you think about it, Roman is kind of like now a side character, while Jey is kind of showing signs that, hey, I can be the face of the company too. I can carry the torch for the bloodline the same way you could. Look at me. I'm main event Jey Uso. That's the whole thing now, is that Roman is kind of letting Jey shine, but at the same time, Roman internally in his mind he still has the Ula Fala still in his mind. That's all that Roman's mind is set on. And because of that, he's so in depth at being in control that when he can't control something, he doesn't know how to interact with it. And the fact that Jey is his own man, yeah, Roman wants Jey to be his own man, but internally you can see that Roman doesn't want Jey to defy him or be bigger than what Roman is now.
Yeah, it's like a leopard. They say the leopard can't change its stripes. And it's like Roman's trying to change his stripes, but old habits die hard with the dude. It's like he's expect the microphone to get handed to him. He still expects people to acknowledge him. he doesn't come off as it like that, like he used to be. He's still a work in progress. So yeah, I agree. It's like at the same time, before I hand it off to Jay and John, um, Jay also he's still that hothead that instead of trying to work with Roman, Roman's trying to meet him halfway. Jay's like, nah, fam, we're gonna do this my way. I'm the guy. I'm the one that should be having the ulafala, not you. I'm past you. I'm above you now. It's pretty much what he's trying to tell him. And it's like I find it interesting how this dynamic is gonna play out because those two are gonna have to get together somehow, and all these other elements that's about to come in. And I was telling John this the other day. It's going to take someone wise to fix this group.
Like a wise man?
A certain wise man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And speaking of that, speaking of wise man, I also like to welcome to the show. He just popped in. My guy Jay, representing BS Beer Media. Jay, what up, bro?
Fellas.
What's up with you smoking?
How we doing?
How y'all doing tonight?
Man, we good, man. We live. We here. We living. We survived Election Tuesday. We here. Nothing else new. We still here.
Okay, that's good to hear because I was a little worried last week. I thought you was gonna be MIA from work for about 2 weeks.
Oh no, brother. There ain't nothing stopping me from making money. that bag gotta come one way or the other, and that man is not gonna stop me from getting the bag. You heard?
Oh, definitely.
So Jay, I don't know if you was listening. We was talking about how Jay Uso came in last. So I'm gonna hand it off to John real quick to get his thoughts on it. Then I'm gonna have you in the segment on that. John, what was your thoughts on Jay Uso pretty much showing up the tribal chief?
He's earned it. He's earned it. Numbers don't. What did Jay-Z say? Men lie, women lie. Numbers don't. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. He's outsold Roman Reigns and CM Punk combined in merch the last month. He's earned it. He's earned this spot. He's earned this spot. And it only felt right. And I know we're going to get into Raw later, but just to give you a clip about what happened, at the conclusion of the Raw and Rihyad, WWE Today posted on their social, he comes out, and they're yeeting in Saudi for 10 minutes.
I saw that clip. They were singing this song, rapping the song. The first half of his song, they was rapping it. So it's like, dude is, man. I know it. Before I get into it, before I even get into all that, Jay, what'd you think about that, man? Because there's a lot I want to talk about on that.
What I think about the Raw segment, or what I think about the fallout from
having his own entrance?
He deserved it. I mean, I don't think it was him being defiant. I don't think it was him trying to. It was definitely him separating himself from Roman and his brother. But it was a way of showing them, I did this. Just like his song said, it's just me. I did it. So, you got to give me my respect. I left the family, became Intercontinental Champion, bust my ass, became a tag team champion with Sammy Uso, and y'all haven't got a title. Y'all got put on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? Y'all numbers went down. People almost basically forgot about y'all. So, you know what I'm saying? It's me. You're not about to take that from me. So you're gonna have to respect what I do. And I don't want to be above you. I don't want to be behind you. I don't want to be in front of you. I want us to be side by side. We family. We all equals. That same promo, the same thing he said on SmackDown. They equals. Yeah. And Roman's just gonna have they gotta play it like it's hard for him because he did it for like 3 years. He had stuff handed to him. He had people go and get things for him. He had the Usos as his minions. He was able to play mind games to get what he want. So it's gonna be hard for
But
him to come down off of that.
yeah, I agree. And I'm actually proud of Jay because if you think about it, 3 years ago, Roman set this up for him in the beginning. Like
Hmm.
throughout all the mind games and all that, he told him, "I'm gonna make you a star. You're my right hand man. You're main event." So we was invested in Jay Uso from the start,
Mhm.
Yep.
and to see him go from being the right hand man who's having a mental midlife crisis every week, to now headlining main event shows, and like John said, outselling the biggest face in the company in merch. That's the last person that would ever do that would be John Cena as far as merch. And for him to beat Roman Reigns in merch, that shows that A, the company has big stock in you, and three, B, the fans was invested on this man since the pandemic because the whole Bloodline saga in 2020 was basically like Cash said, wrestling for niggas because this is like our version of Days of Our Lives, Young and the Restless.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
you was in the field, it had you in the field, like you felt Jey Uso every time this dude shed a cheer, and it's like, damn, like I want dude to be good, I want dude to be all right, and now look at him. You can tell who's Jay, who's Jimmy. There's no more, oh, that's the Usos. It's like these guys are different.
And
While
I don't,
Jimmy is still. Go
I
ahead.
don't mean I don't mean to interrupt you, but also you gotta think about it too. That how many cousins? I know you grew up with cousins. You fought
Oh
your
yeah.
cousins, so
Yep.
it was more personal. It grabbed your attention. That's the whole genius of this bloodline story.
Yeah, yeah. But
One
the
other
match
thing.
itself,
I grew in a house with cousins, so I can relate to that smoke. I mean, I was the youngest, so I can kind of relate with Jay. Then you got
Me too.
him being called, mistaken for Jimmy, or even when he tried to go solo, Roman wants to son him, calling him. Everyone want to call him Lil J. I mean, I'm my own man, so
Hmm.
he needed he earned that moment. He said, "Look, man, I love y'all, but I did this on my own, and I
Mhm.
need to do this because if I need to show y'all that I can stand on my own too." I just go back to the when it was announced that he was coming to Raw back in October. I think it was at Fastlane at Fastlane, or I mean September back at Fastlane, and everyone was like, "Whoa, like wow!" And if from then on, it's had some bumps up around the road because everybody wants to see him as a champ, but he has been that dude. Hate it or love it, he's been that dude, and I don't know nobody who's hating it.
And another thing we got to
yeah,
point
and the
out.
love it, the underdogs on top.
Another thing we gotta point out before we move forward is that Jay was the first person to pin Roman when he was in the Shield. Jay pinned
Yep.
Roman when he was at Money in the Bank.
Yep.
Jay was at one point the forgotten Uso, to the point that the Usos were on WrestleMania pre-show after pre-show after pre-show after
Yep.
pre-show.
Hmm.
Then they go from headlining WrestleMania to now Jimmy and Jay have their own separate entities, their own separate identities, their own separate characters. And they shared a stage at WrestleMania. Match could have been better, but the fact of the matter is they've done something that the New Day is just now getting into,
Get
Yep.
where
into, yeah,
What?
they're just now getting to that point. And if you think about it, if you really think about it, Jay has captured the same title that his dad once held. And
Yep.
Jay is so over that he doesn't even need the Intercontinental Championship. The championship is supposed to elevate you and add value. Jay
yeah.
elevated the Intercontinental title and added value to it. So
Yep.
when you go back and watch that promo where he was telling Roman, you know what they say when they look at me, Oos, which one are you? Well, we all know which one Jay is now. We
Yep.
all know
Yeah.
because he has built the resume. He has built the body of work, and he's undeniable at this point. And nobody on the roster can match what he's doing. They can try, but it's not going to work.
And this is the same.
Ever since France, I was like, well, they got him. They got one. Ever since France opened the door to all this, and it's like, it's unbelievable because seeing all of Europe just rocking with the dude, and he just standing like he didn't know what to do. He just had to like feel himself and dance because it's like he made it. He truly made it. Go ahead, Jay.
And shout out to WWE, man, because I know we get tired of recycled storylines, but this is the same thing they did with the Hardy Boys. The same exact thing, but they achieved the greatness that the Hardy Boys that Jeff could not hold on to.
Yeah.
Right. And Jay, man, Jay is gonna be a bigger star than Roman. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna call it. It might come down to a point where Roman give Jay the Ula Fala. Who knows?
Maybe. That'll be like if Roman's on his way out and he's done. It's like you. This is you now. You and little brother can have the keys. I'm gonna go be with my family.
Yes.
Speaking
the pop will be insane the day that happens.
Oh yeah. Speaking of family, the match itself was off the chain, very physical, and it led to a lot of people, which I don't know why, they was actually surprised that Solo Sikoa pinned Roman Reigns, and I'm like, you can ask John. John can testify to this. I called this the moment Roman Reigns came back in the summer. That this dude needs to take his first L to make Solo look good, because Solo's been taking L's since day one. He took over the bloodline, lost it to Cody Rhodes, getting pinned by this person, losing to this person. It's like, if you want us to believe this man is the future, is going to take over the family business, he needs to rack up a dub, and it needs to be a big dub. And there's no bigger dub than pinning Roman Reigns. So clean. And I'm watching reactions that people are like, holy shit, he actually did it. It's like, what do you expect?
Because this was to advance the storyline. Sorry to cut you off, but because I'm gonna tell you what I told my fans on the show. I said before SummerSlam, if Roman comes back, he has to lose to Solo, because we need to see Roman Reigns in a vulnerable state. We have never seen.
Yes, I literally said that last week.
We need to see Roman. We need to see right, John. We got to see
it. I said that exact word. The B word. I said that exact word.
Oh,
and don't he look vulnerable right now?
Yeah,
yes, vulnerable right now.
Hey, let me give y'all what I think is gonna happen. Let me tell y'all real quick, because I don't want to interrupt. But let me tell y'all what I think is gonna happen. This is where I had it set up. I said Solo needs to pin Roman at Crown Jewel, and it needs to get to a point where Roman is like, I can't trust Jay, I can't trust Jimmy, I can't rely on Sammy. I'm gonna go to my wise man. And let's say we got Survivor Series coming up, and we got Sammy, Roman, and the Usos against the new bloodline. Well, watch this. Sammy gets taken out, not by the bloodline, by Kevin Owens. Because he's like, yo, what the fuck are you doing going back to the bloodline? Didn't we just beat the, we were just at war with them, right? Let's say that they're down a member, right? This is where I'm about to cook, John. Stick with me on this one.
Gotcha.
Let's say that they need a member, and then the lights go out, and at Survivor Series in the War Games match, last person to come out before the match starts, The Rock shows up, right? The Rock goes to the ring. They have the match, and it gets toward the end of the match where they're about to finish Solo because everybody else is down. And The Rock is like, nah, hold up. Let me do it. So Roman gives it to The Rock. Rock turns around. Rock bottoms Roman. New bloodline clears out. Solo pins Roman again, 1, 2, 3, and The Rock aligns with the new bloodline because it's going to be revealed on the SmackDown that The Rock was pulling strings the entire time after WrestleMania 40. And I'm about to tell y'all something crazy.
Say that shit.
I'm about to tell y'all something crazy. I'm about to tell y'all something y'all don't know. Well, y'all do know, but the High Chief, The Rock he was legally named in 2004 the High Chief. Yep. So people of his culture have to refer to him as Salui in Samoan, which means High Chief. Well, the tribal chief answers to the High Chief.
The Rock. Yep.
He transfers from the final boss and transforms into the High Chief, and The Rock gets the Ula Fala. Rock goes to Royal Rumble, beats Cody Rhodes for the title, goes to WrestleMania. Roman crashes out, enters the Royal Rumble. We get Roman and The Rock at WrestleMania 40. That's how you do it.
Book that shit.
Yep.
Book that shit.
That's how you do it.
I didn't know how it was gonna turn out, but I told John somehow, some way, The Rock needs to reveal himself as the one that's been behind the new bloodline. Because if you remember, leading up to WrestleMania, when him, Roman, and Solo in the back, The Rock's looking at Solo like, "Oh yeah, he's ready. Oh, he's ready." Roman's like, "You think so?" Like, "Oh yeah, he's ready." So we over here thinking, Solo's the tribal chief. This whole time he could be holding the Ula Fala until the High Chief says, "All right, hand the Ula Fala to me now," because by family hierarchy, you obey the High Chief, and so I'm with that. I'm with that because I told John, like, I see The Rock somehow, some way. If he can't make Mania, I see him, which I don't believe. That's bullshit to me. That's like he's trying to fool everybody, but he ain't fooling me. That dude will be in Vegas. He'd be there in Vegas. But I did say, if that's the case, his schedule's clean for this month. Like, I see him in War Games, and if that's the case, Sammy gets taken out because of KO. The Rock can easily come in there like, well, he wasn't really family. We're blood. I got you. And then, like you said, we haven't seen a War Games screw job since Dakota Kai turned on Tegan Knox.
Right.
Right in the middle of the match. So I can see, because right now, I don't see Zilla coming in. I don't see anybody else from the family coming in on short notice. Right. I do see that would be the way to get Sami Zayn out, because I always said from the longest, this should be family business and blood related only. So you get Sami out the way. Everyone's looking at Roman or everyone's looking at Jay like they did it. And then, Kevin Owens winds up, like you said, taking out everyone that sided with Roman Reigns, or even having conversations with the bloodline. You don't care's, MO. So I do see The Rock somehow, some way revealing himself at Survivor Series. I thought it was going to be him versus Roman on team, but to have him pull a Hulk Hogan at Bash at the Beach and have you think like, oh, hell yeah, Rock's on that side, and only just the, you crybaby bitches. Man, I can see that. I can see that. Jay, what'd you think, man? I gave up trying to predict the bloodline outcome, but that right there, Cash may be on something. What'd you think?
Man, I think Cash got it on 100% on the door now, man. Because ain't no other way to reveal The Rock being the boss behind the scene. We've been talking about it for months, and that is the best way to put him in there. The WrestleMania thing might be a hoax, but for sure, if it could be Roman versus Rock at WrestleMania, Oh, that's gonna be beautiful.
Sign me up.
man.
And then I guess that's how Roman gets his title back by beating The Rock, because that's the one person he has to beat to be the chief of the family.
Yep.
So that's one way to put it. John, what you think, man? How you liking
Somebody give my man
prediction?
cash a check, man. Somebody give my man cash a check right now, dog. Somebody give my man cash a check right now, man. I mean,
Give us all a percentage
inside
of
the
the check, because man, we all been calling that shit.
yeah, get this man. Yeah, man, this man will get some residuals for that too. Major. Man,
Hey,
you was just cooking with grease on that one, bro.
yeah,
That-
bro.
Oh yeah.
That has to happen. Dang, what you want? That has to.
Yes.
Yeah.
We got to see, because like you were saying, you've been saying, Trell, we got to know what, obviously, you don't just drop The Rock in at Bad Blood and just him go away cold turkey and we don't see him for another 90 days. You got to sprinkle him in here and there. So this would be the perfect time, because obviously Survivor Series is going to be the last PLE of the year. I doubt we see him at Saturday night's main event. And maybe, but let's just, anything's possible. So, but go ahead, pull up, have that final boss music play, and right when it's getting the war games, him and Roman are laying the smack down on the bloodline, or just he just goes in there, like you said, just lays Roman out, and they get the win, and Solo has to humble himself and give the final boss the Ulu and make him acknowledge him.
And you know what would make the turn even better is right before Roman's about to spear Solo, The Rock does his trademark like stop, and then he tells Roman to come in the middle of the ring, and he does the same thing that he did to Cody, where he whispers something, and then Roman has this like what the fuck look on his face, and then he just rock bottoms him right there, because then now we're thinking, what did he whisper to Roman? What did, and then now we don't see Roman for a couple of weeks because The Rock is talking shit about him. Don't bring Roman back right away. Keep him in the dark and let Roman strike exactly when he's ready.
Yeah,
but see that'd be the perfect.
Which could be a Royal Rumble. I mean, let's take your theory up a notch. They get the pin on Roman, and they just whoop all of the Bloodline's ass and save Roman Reigns for last, and really like put a beat down, like he put a beat down on Cody, like really put the beat down on Roman. Have Roman sit out December, and then have him pull up at the Royal Rumble.
And make sure he just shows up, not to cost The Rock the championship against Cody. Rock needs to win that clean to assert his dominance, because basically all he has to say is, I did the one thing that you couldn't do twice. It only took me one time to do it. And at the same time, you've lost value. You've been a weak chief. You can't lead the bloodline. So I got to do the same thing John Cena said. I'm here because you can't do your job. And all he'll do is have that echoing in the back of his mind.
Yeah.
And then,
Cody.
Yeah, that's true. And it's like Rock can also be like, we went to war with this guy at Mania. I'll leave. I'll come back, and you're his tag team partner, beating up our family. Like when he did that 1, 2, 3, and he did the slit of the throat, I'm like, yep. Rock didn't like what he saw. And if we remember The Rock's, one of the Rock's catchphrases is, The Rock never forgets.
Yep.
And he's going when he meets with Roman in the middle of that ring, he's gonna risk for something that's there, like either checkmate or something in Samoan, and Roman's gonna look like be founded, like, wait, what? And before he can react, bam, rock bottom. So yeah, I can see that.
I got to put this out here. The Rock has, in my opinion, the best back-to-back WrestleMania win streak of all time.
Yep.
He beat the two biggest stars in wrestling in back-to-back WrestleManias. He beat Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18, and Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania at 19. If he pins Roman at WrestleMania, this means The Rock would have accomplished a feat that nobody's ever done. He would have beat the face of every company over the last 30 years. You have Hogan, Rock, Cena, and then Roman, and then add Cody. That's like a top 5. He would have beaten them all at WrestleMania. Like, think about that.
I don't think they're gonna have The Rock do that. I think if anything, The Rock's gonna be the final boss that Roman needs to conquer. Then once he conquers that, it's like what's left for Roman to beat? He's beaten Lesnar, he's beaten Orton, he's beaten Cena, he's beaten a who's who of people that gotten in his way. Edge, Daniel Bryan. There's a long list of people. Brock Lesnar like twice.
You know who he hasn't beaten?
Woo, woo, woo.
The ring general Gunther.
Yep.
Yeah.
Winner take all match. The following WrestleMania, Gunther and Roman, just like they did with Brock, but have Gunther win, and then Roman can retire.
Yeah. It all adds up. It all leads to because Gunther is that next guy, and from what I saw 2 days ago, it's the seeds have been planted for him to be the next guy. So
What we got
to put the cap on the match, Bloodline, the new Bloodline beats Roman Reigns. They put a beat down on the Bloodline, and then here comes Sami Zayn. This is where everyone's like, all right, now we're going to get Sami Zayn the Bloodline. Sami Zayn comes in. They all surround Solo. Sami goes for the Luva kick. He ducks. Roman Reigns is going for a spear or a Superman punch. Eats a Luva kick. So everyone's looking at him like, what you doing, fam? So it made it seem like Sami Zayn did it on purpose because, everyone has the axe to grind against Roman Reigns except Jimmy. So what do you guys? Well, we already covered what's gonna happen with Sami. So you think y'all think that's how it's gonna go down? That Kevin Owens gonna take him out because it looks like they're prepping Sami to make his return to the Bloodline this Friday.
We'll see.
I
don't put nothing. I cannot trust Kevin Owens as far as I could throw him, and he has. If he wanted to fuck up the whole roster at any point, he could. He could.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I see it happening that way because where else could Kevin Owens storyline go from here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he could beef with Cody, but Sami is also his quote unquote best friend. So that's gonna hurt more than anything.
And we've seen this multiple times, but each chapter of this, it gets better and better. So this one is Sammy's not gonna see coming, and that's gonna be good.
Gonna be Sami Owens at WrestleMania.
Maybe
they haven't done it before, so they deserve that.
They did.
Oh, which one?
37 WrestleMania Sunday. That was the year they introduced. The year they introduced Logan Paul to WWE. That's right.
Oh yeah.
But this run back is gonna be better. So
we ain't seen this Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on the shows. So it'd be like you guys say, way better.
So the next item up for bids is the Fatal 4-Way tag team match for the women's tag team titles, which pretty much saw the debut of NXT talent making their way to Saudi, which it was a proud moment for me as brothers, as a culture, and I also want to add what happened to WWE with poor representation of black athletes at PLEs. So we had 4 of them on in one match on the brightest show in Saudi Arabia. So all y'all haters can finally shut the fuck up on that one because the sisters cook. Lash Legend and Jakari Jackson Damage Control, Io Sky, and Kyrie Zane. Chelsea Green, Piper Niven took on the reigning defending tag team champions, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. During this whole match, it seems like they're setting up Lash Legend and Jade Cargill because those two could not keep their eyes off each other. I went to Twitter when I said this. I'm like, the way they was throwing hands, I'm like, the Last Legend still one of Jade Cargill's wigs and didn't give it back clean because nigga, I mean, when I say you can hear them hits, it's like one of those cookouts where your cousin slept with your man behind your back, didn't think you knew, and then it all came ahead at the family cookout at Johnson's family reunion or something. Because man, those two went at it. Those two stole the show in my book. Last Legend showed that she has arrived, and the fact that they put her on a PLE on the main roster across the country shows that I think sooner or later she's gonna split from Jakari Jackson because I think she's gonna stay in NXT. I don't think she's ready for that main roster run, but Last Legend it is ready because that match was good. It lived up to the hype. I enjoyed it personally myself, and at the end of the day, the tag team champions reign supreme, which adds to my theory of they will be at the women's war games. How they're going to be in it, I don't know, but I know those two are going to be represented in the war games. Cash, what did you think about that match, man? How did the NXT stand out to you?
It was a 4-star match, honestly. So Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend. Honestly, I think between Lash Legend and I'll say Jade and Bianca, like Lash was kind of the MVP of the match. Do you remember when she picked up Kairi Sane? Like she was like picking up a school chair and just like threw her at Jakara Jackson like she was like a pillow. And Jakara like power bombed her. And I'm like, the way she picked her up, it was effortless. And not only that, Chelsea doing what she does best, entertaining. Piper got some good. Everybody shined in this match, but I don't think any star shined brighter than Lash Legend. And even what I loved about this match was it seemed like everybody got to cook. Everybody got to get their shit in. One thing that I do like is the fact that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are the women's version of the Legion of Doom in the They are the Legion of Doom. And how fitting that they won the match with a doomsday device. It looked painful. And the fact that Jade is extremely strong, she's just as strong as Bianca. Lash is extremely strong. Lash shares feats with Bianca and Jade. Bianca and Lash have both picked up Otis, but the difference is Lash picked up Otis. She deadlifted him. Bianca had to pick him up from him standing on the ring steps. And at the same time, Lash has a better kick, like a doubles kick than Jade Cargill does. So it's almost like she's a combination of Bianca and Jade Cargill, which that kind of leaves Jakara Jackson in the shuffle. And Jakara was probably the happiest person in that match. Like we just got it flat out. She had a smile on her face the entire time because they finally got an opportunity to prove that they belong. And honestly, I don't think they're going back to NXT because I think it was a soft call-up. Because look at what they did. They wrestled on SmackDown for about 2 minutes, but then when they got to show what they could do at the PLE at Crown Jewel in front of an international audience like that, you can't put a team like that from NXT on that kind of show and they have that kind of showing and then be like, nah, go back to NXT. No, you just created and teased a rivalry with Jade Cargill and Lash Legend. We want to see Jade and Bianca, but we want to see Lash and Jade Cargill too. So all I'm going to say is Trell, John, Jay, when we get to the Royal Rumble,
Oh, it's on.
my God.
It's on. It's on. Lash Legend passed the test when she was on SmackDown, when she had that match with Piper Niven.
Mm-hmm.
When she did that match, that was her tryout. And I was like, it was nice that they had to bring them back twice. And they were looking at her like, okay, homegirl can cook. She's not afraid of the spotlight. She gets it done. All right, let's up it a notch. Let's send her overseas, see how she does with international crowd. So I agree. Like, eventually we're gonna get Jade and Bianca. I think we're gonna get Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania. So putting those two together after they met at the Royal Rumble last year, this past January, when those two locked eyes, we all was like, "Oh, that's a WrestleMania match in the making."
Started at Royal Rumble because let Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson be the reason why Bianca and Jade break up. Have Lash fight Jade and Bianca and Jakara, like have them all in the Royal Rumble. Have one of them try to eliminate the other, or like Jade goes to eliminate Lash but ends up eliminating Bianca, or vice versa. And then at Elimination Chamber, which I'm assuming should be the next pay-per-view, have Lash and Jakara go against Jade and Bianca, and then the Jade and Bianca lose, and
The titles,
have Jade,
right?
Yep, lose the titles, have Jade turn on Bianca, or however you want to do it. Boom, you got your WrestleMania match right there.
Yeah, because I think once they lose those tag team titles, like Liv Morgan said, that's exactly how it's going to go down. Who's going to be the heel? I'm hoping it's going to be Bianca, because Bianca's long overdue for a heel turn. I missed the NXT Bianca so bad, and at this point of her career, she needs that change of pace. She needs to be a heel because she's been a babyface for so long that I think it's starting to run its course. So you need to flip that character change. Keep Jade as that Black Wonder Woman, as you know, as the future of that brand. So I'm with you on that one. John, what you think?
Match cooked. It was my favorite match of the night. It was literally my favorite match of the night. And I gotta give, like I said, first, think about all the superstars who came through NXT. Adam Cole, Aleister Black, the Four Horsewomen, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. None of them went over to NXT, been over to Saudi before, while they were still in NXT. Let that sink in. These are the first two superstars, period, to get sent over. Asuka, the greatest NXT superstar in my opinion, never got sent over to Saudi Arabia while she was still on the gold ring, on the black gold ring. And these two were the first. And I know there's rumors going around the dirt sheets about possibly, like you were saying, Cash, it was a soft call up, that they're saying that possibly the whole faction has got the call. But we know there's one star in that group. And ain't nothing against Noam Dar. He obviously he can talk the talk, but we know he's kind of like a Grayson Waller type. He's like a poor man's Grayson Waller to me.
That's cold.
He's an undercarder. And obviously Jakara has the look, she has the swag, but she just hasn't got the tools yet. We know who the star is. It's the Bougie Bully. And I noticed that when the first time I saw Lash Legend, she obviously had the swagger. She had the swagger, being a former basketball player. She had that talk. We wonder could she put it together in the ring. Obviously, it came around slow. They started her first. Remember, they started her feuding first, kind of taking these pot shots with these direct camera shots at Nikita Lyons. And she pulls up, she pump kicks Nikita Lyons through the back of the stage. And that feud didn't really go anywhere. And now she obviously, what happens with Trick Williams and Metaphor, kind of we get to see her character build. And then the skills when she slammed Otis, and down it was just rising. Her stock was going up, and Jakara was slowly that, and she saw, okay, then I got to step my game up. But clearly, she's ready for the show. When she was in there with Jade, we talk sports all the time, Cash, Smoke, Terrell, because you've been on Sports4U all the time. You can tell when someone knows that they're not afraid of that moment. When they're looking across and they're seeing, oh, that's possible GOAT status on the other side I need to make sure that I don't shrink in this moment. And she didn't at all. Like Terrell said, she threw them hands. She put on a show. But Jade and Bianca, that's appreciate what they're doing. Bianca Belair could be trying to be a women's world champion any time of the week and twice on Sunday, but she has the self-awareness and the selfishness and the unselfishness to say, I see that this woman is coming over here and she can be the next big thing like I am. Let me throw her olive branch and let me help her, because clearly Jade Cargill needed Bianca Belair more than Bianca Belair needed Jade Cargill, and we're seeing just the symmetry from the Royal Rumble to Jade signing day to WrestleMania to their first tag team reign to this tag team reign, and it's all going to coincide with a ultimate clash to the Titans, hopefully in Vegas, and I can't wait for it. I'm just happy for these women. And shout out to Chelsea and Piper. They killed it. Io and Kyrie, I don't even got to say anything else, man. I ain't got to say anything else. I can watch Io and Bianca wrestle every day of the week, gosh.
Best of 7 series. Best of 7. Need best of 7.
I can watch that all day. I can watch that all day.
Jay, what you think, man? Oh, Jay here?
Oh, yeah, they're on mute. Go ahead, Smoke.
Yeah. Shuck it, duck it, crack, baby. I told y'all. I told y'all. Nah, I'm a little disappointed that they didn't get the titles, but that was just me being a fan. But these girls, man, ever since I laid eyes on Lash, think about this for a minute. Y'all said the comparisons to Bianca and Jade, but did y'all see when they stood up tall, straight? The bougie princess is bigger than both Jade and Bianca.
And that says a lot.
She's bigger than both of them, and she has the adrenaline and the movement of both of them, and I cannot wait. I'm gonna be honest with you. I can't wait till the one-on-ones come, because it's coming. It's coming, and I hope WWE do not shortchange us, because I'm gonna be pissed off. I'm telling you, from the day Lash picked up Otis, that was her breakout moment. That was like, we gotta put all hands on deck. We gotta get this woman over to SmackDown. We gotta get her over to Raw. We gotta see what she can do against the main talent. It's nothing to Jakara Jackson, Miss Jackson, she did her thing. I'm not even gonna hold on that. She did what a sidekick's supposed to do. She held her partner down. And if you ask me, they work well as a team. Us being compared to Damage Control, Bianca and Jade, and Piper Niven and Chelsea Green, they look like they belong. They look like it. So, I'm waiting for it. Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, to me, Jakara Jackson reminds me of a crossover between Sasha Banks and Alicia Fox.
And you just took that out of my mouth, because I swear to God I was about to say that. I swear to God I was about to say that.
I'm like, she gave me Alicia Fox vibes. And it's like, because I didn't see Alicia Fox as that good, but she was entertaining.
Yes.
I think Shakara can be entertaining, but I don't know if she's that good, because I watched her work and it's like, okay, I see little things she pick up here and there, but it's nothing like, okay, she can actually have a full-blown match by herself, and I can take her seriously, because I don't. So that's why, if Metaphor as a whole get called up, cool. If not, I can see Jakari being left behind, and they split up those two. And, send the bougie baddie up, or guilty by association or benefits by association. Jakari and Last Legend get called up together as a pair, kind of like Enzo and Cass, type of thing. And then from there, if they want to split them up, they can do so on the main roster.
To be
But
honest, that's what I see coming. You know, I see them coming up together because they could have easily bought Last Lesson over by herself. You know, granted it wouldn't have worked well with the tag team thing, but they could have easily bought her over herself. You know, Noam is hurt. Um, Missa Aura, he's nowhere to be found right now. He's a backstage guy. You know, they could have easily took Lashes, just put her in that type of picture.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's
you
true.
know, the fact that they kept Jakara with her, they're gonna bring both of them up, and their run is not over in NXT. You know, I mean, I don't want to speak on what happened tonight. You know, jump ahead, but their run is not over. So I think they're gonna give Jakari that little time to work on it because it's said right. It's in the stars. It's written in the stars. Y'all going to the main roster. You just gotta perfect
Hmm.
your mic skills and your in-ring skills a little bit better. Like you say, go back and watch some of Sasha Banks matches and her promos. Go back and watch some of Alicia Fox. Hell, you could go ahead and watch some of cause you're almost the same, a little bit taller than her. Go watch what's her name with LWO, Selena Vega. You
Hmm.
know, she just gotta hone those skills, and once she get a little bit better, I think she's not gonna have a problem. But this was my favorite
Facts.
night of the. This was my favorite match of the night, and it should have been to me. It could have been a main event anywhere else on any other pay per view.
Hmm. That's true. Speaking
Yeah.
of speaking of main event level pay per view matches, that brings us to the triple threat match for the United States title:
Right.
Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and the one and only L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
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 it was pretty much a preview of the best of seven series, game seven featuring LA Knight at this point. Because man, those three guys put on a hell of a match. They put on a banger. All three of us on this panel were wrong. We all pretty much had Carmelo shocking Saudi and walking out the United States Championship.
Me
Are you
But
too.
sure?
a counter of all counters, Andrade was going for a DDT on Melo. LA Knight comes in, hits a hits the Pete the damn, what's it called that? The blood force
B-
trauma
yeah, BFT.
on Andrade while hitting the DDT on Melo to get the win. I'm like, oh, that was nice. That was a nice counter. So pretty much LA Knight retains the United States Championship. So now I wonder, since he wins it, who's his next challenger going to be? Because Orr's busy, KO's busy. Are we gonna have that game seven and the winner gets LA Knight again? Or are we gonna get maybe Grayson Waller, Austin Theory? They break up and go for the championship. But because now it begs that question of who's next for LA Knight. We already know what's next for Melo and Andrade. I think we still gonna get that game seven since LA Knight ruined it the last time. So they owe us a redo of that game seven because that could have been it in Saudi. So, Cash, what you think, man? LA Knight is the winner. What do you see? How would you book the outcome? Well, follow up to this match because somehow, some way, all three of them ain't done yet.
Well, we got to look at the fact that when we talk about LA Knight's impact, you have to put him up against somebody who basically chastises his momentum and basically can sabotage LA Knight's momentum. I'm going to throw out a name that if we don't get, because the match was great. Andrade is amazing as always. I had Melo winning with like a sneaky roll-up pin, grabbing the tights, walking out with the championship. I had him
Right.
beat the same way he beat Randy Orton. I had him beating the same way he beat Randy Orton, right? So
Right.
we talk about Carmelo's impact. He's obviously had a great year. Andrade is amazing as always. How would you guys feel if I said, all right, LA Knight needs somebody who poses a threat to his championship? What you think about LA Knight and Drew McIntyre?
Drew
How would you
McIntyre
make that
going
work?
to a mid card. Well,
Well,
I
let me tell you
mean,
how I, let me tell you how I make this work, right? Drew just lost to CM Punk, and
right.
he's already on the verge of like he's coming back, he's crashing out, and he basically says, "You know what, Punk, you are the better man, but this isn't over between us. But in the meantime, I'm just going to start taking opportunities and doing what I wanted to do." So then he starts going after. He can't get to the Intercontinental Championship. Go after the United States Championship. Just have Drew show up on shows and start wrecking everybody, just because he can, because he's a star. And then he goes after LA Knight. I'd even have Drew intervene and fuck up the game 7 and be like, you know what? I want to go after LA Knight because you got this locker room is not ready for the caliber of superstar I am. And until I get the World Heavyweight Championship, I'm going to take every title that I want and have him go after the United States Championship.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, because LA Knight does need a good dance partner, and I don't see anyone outside of Logan Paul making a surprise return for his rematch. I don't see anyone else pre-draft because I'm pretty sure next year is gonna be another draft. I don't
Right.
see anyone right now really challenging LA Knight unless you turn the Street Profits heel. Montez Ford wants a shot. You can throw Montez Ford in there. New attitude, new change of scenery for him. Like, you know what? Fuck this. We're not getting no tag team title shots. I want a United States Championship match. And that you can start maybe breaking up the profits because now Montez has that desire based off his frustrations to go solo. So he can ease into that, give him a championship match with LA Knight, show the higher ups that hey, I can work these matches solo. Um, Other than that, I mean, someone from the bloodline, they can build that up because he's always gonna have unfinished business with the bloodline, so you can reintroduce him to the new bloodline and maybe have Jacob take it from him, or have Jacob pose a threat, have Tamatonga pose a threat. You can put those guys in there. Santo Escobar been there, done that, but he hasn't really been seen, so they can throw him in there maybe. But I don't see him as a threat. Yeah, I mean, with this brand split and still having people show up anywhere they please, I can see a Drew McIntyre somehow showing up. I can see it, but then at the same time, it's like you're gonna put him in a mid card feud, which right now I guess that would be the only way he can go because the championship scene is busy. Unless he can come back and challenge Cody between now and next year, he can challenge Cody for the WWE Championship. That'll keep him busy for a while to the Royal Rumble. Then him and Punk can have that interaction at the Rumble again, and so yeah, I like it. John, what you think?
Drew McIntyre on back. Well, he always feels like a SmackDown guy to me too. So I can see it. I'll just be interested to see who goes back to Raw. But him versus trying to be the guy they throwing LA Knight. I can see that because then remember when Drew was on SmackDown and they was both in the Elimination Chamber. LA Knight called him an old timer, which is comical. But
Right.
but I could definitely see it. I can see it cooking, obviously. But if LA Knight's not turning heel, he's just gonna be this anti-hero. You need a good heel who can compete against him if Melo is not going to be it. Because like you said, Cash, me, Trail, Smoke, we all had Melo bringing the title back to the States, going to get the spinner, and basically riding spinners like he's 3-6. But it didn't happen. But it was a banger of a match, and it was a banger of a match. And obviously the high flying, all the styles that just make fight because you got two high flyers, you got a semi high flyer, kind of a more of a ground guy in LA Knight who can he can go above the ropes if he has to. But Melo and Andrade, they've been just cooking ever since they've been in WWE, been on SmackDown. And I'm happy to see Andrade back in WWE. When I saw that him in the Royal Rumble, it was like, man, it just felt right.
It felt
like
right.
Person, I've seen a certain other person who should be here, but I haven't watched Dynamite yet. But I do see what's circulating thanks to our Sports4U Twitter account about a certain other person who should be back in WWE. But I'll leave that alone. Go ahead, Trey. Back to you.
Yeah, I agree. It's good to see Andrade back in WWE under the Triple H banner. So when Triple H officially took over, all the people Vince got rid of, I'm like checking the list. I'm like, okay, eventually got to bring this guy back. Eventually got to bring these people back. Eventually got to bring this, and that. I was hoping for Hit Row, but I was hoping for Hit Row with Swerve. But Swerve already got his deal by that time, so they were just sitting ducks in a ocean full of sharks.
They would just roll at that point.
Yeah, they were just roll.
Say what? Remember when Death Row came back as the Row? Yeah, that's exactly what they were.
Yeah, they went from Hit Row to Skid Row, but
Right.
But yeah, it's good to see him back. I was wondering what they're gonna do with him because he was kind of floating around. Was he gonna join Legado del Fantasma? Was he not gonna join? Was he joining the LWO? Was he not gonna join? He was running solo, not really doing anything. He was borderline sitting at catering every now and then, trying to figure out what they're gonna do. You bring in Carmelo. And for some reason, that dynamic with those two gives me the Bret Hart Booker T Best of 7 series matches when they had in WCW. Those cooked. Sheamus and Cesaro, the Best of 7 matches they had, those cooked. So those rare Best of 7s, and the fact that not only did we get those matches with Melo and Andrade, they gave them ample amount of time to both get their shit off, both get their shine on, and both, put on a performance. Sometimes it was to open the show, it was in the middle of the show, but no matter what it was, they got at least 20 minutes of time, which had all the fans invested. So I'm anxious to see what lies ahead for them both after this. I still have somehow, someway, in the end, Melo winning the United States Championship. I hope that he doesn't turn into a spinner belt because, yeah, that should be left with the Chain Gang era of high school years. So that should stick where it belongs. Do not spin. I don't need no Boston anything spinning on the belt. So yeah, Jay, what do you think about this match, man? It was a banger, wasn't it?
Yeah, this behind those women, man, I would say this was the second best match of the night, and it gave all the oohs and the ahs and the tension that you wanted. You know, we all dropped the ball instead of Carmelo pinning. He got the pin. He got pinned on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you. I still have Melo winning this in the end. But to go to your point about not Sheamus. Listen to me. I'm talking about Sheamus. To talk about Drew McIntyre. Yeah. To talk about him, I could see it, but I really can't see it. You know, I could see him going in a match with Bronson Reed. You know, once he get through with Seth Rollins, you know, he got to build that monster character back up. So he got to go um, Braun Strowman, Bronson Reed. You know, just to get his his level back up there. What I can see is WWE bringing one of these new signees in. I mean, I know it's going to be a long shot. I really don't know what's going on with his contract because I haven't been watching AEW because WWE has just been having so much stuff going on. And, you know, I heard Aleister Black was planning on leaving.
That's what I was hinting at. Smoke. That's what I was
So,
hinting at.
so Aleister
Um,
Black coming in and being,
I think he still got more time on his contract though.
What I
So
read was,
uh,
and I'll
oh, you,
let Smoke continue.
mhm.
His contract goes through at least the end of the year,
Okay,
about early or like early 2025.
okay.
before we get to that, after this show ends, because I don't want this to be live, I have some information about that,
Gotcha.
Okay.
and that's from
okay.
like I said, I don't want to say it out loud, but it's straight from the source, and
Gotcha.
I'll tell
Okay.
you guys after. Just
All
All right.
right. We say that for the after party. For
Oh
sure.
yeah,
For sure.
definitely.
Go ahead, Jay.
Inside. Good.
But you know, if it can't be him, you know, it got to be like a new signee. You know, I had look. You read my mind. I was thinking bring Logan Paul back to let him get his rematch. You know, just to put a little, you know, a little filler in there somewhere, just so you can prepare for somebody else to come in, or at least get Melo ready to be in that one on one match. But here's another one. Here's another take. Just hear me out. When you were talking about that best of series, and this is why I said Sheamus' name. When Sheamus and Cesaro went through that best of seven series, what happened? What WWE did? They put them in a
Put him as
tag
a tag
team.
team.
They won a tag team championships.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see that going for I can see that going for them too. I'm just being honest with you, and it'll bring, you know, it'll boost the tag team division up because you know it needs a switch up on SmackDown with the tag team division. You know, Legato Fantasma, they ain't really hitting on too much of nothing. You know, the Street Profits, they got them up in the air, which I don't understand how you can fumble the ball with the Profits so many times. Then you know you need a contender for the Motor City Machine Guns, and you would want a fresh contenders for them going into this new era. And who better could match the Motor City Machine Guns than him and El Idolo?
Hmm.
mm,
Hmm. Yellow
That's
and
a.
Andrade Jackson.
I mean, I can see it. I don't know if they're gonna do it that way, but I can definitely because you gotta remember Melo Hayes was drafted number one overall in the WWE draft. So to have him eventually in as a tag team, to me personally, I would think that would be like, why was he number one?
Right.
you
I
know,
mean,
I get what you're saying. That could be the end game, but if I'm Melo, I'd be like, give me a United States Championship, man. He's doing dark matches with Cody Rhodes. He's doing these main event matches off camera with the WWE champion. He's rubbing elbows with the big dogs of of the company, the Randy Ortons and LA Knights. So I think I'm not saying it won't happen, but I would rather see him reach his full potential as a single star because he just got out of NXT being a tag team with Trick and had that feud with Trick. So for him to come on the main roster for half a year just to wind up being a tag team champion, we're not going to be able to see the true potential of Melo
well,
as far as
I don't think it would hinder him. You know, it'll help him more than anything because El Idolo been there before. You know what I'm saying? He was there once upon a time. Melo is, you know, just because you drafted number one, we see it all the time in the NBA and the NFL. Just because you drafted number one, don't mean you can't take that back burner and take that lesser route. to eventually become that guy.
Mm.
And, you know, I ain't saying
Yeah.
keep him in a tag team with El Idolo for what how long Sheamus and Cesaro was. You know, I actually got tired of the bar. You know, but keep him in there for at least a month or two. You know what I'm saying? And then they
Okay.
can win the tag team titles. They lose it. You know, um, Andrade could turn on Mello, and then you know you boost that back up. They have one final grudge match, and then you know work Mello into that United States Championship.
Maybe,
Hmm.
maybe. Well, from one United States championship to a former United States champion, and one of my favorite matches of the night that I was looking forward to, Bronson Reed, Seth Rollins. Um, I'm not gonna lie, this feud I did not see coming. Um, when Bronson Reed took him out with the six tsunamis, I was like, oh. But then again, I thought it was just Bronson Reed, just because he took out everybody else weeks, like every week after that. So I didn't think of it as a seed planted. But the 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 attacks that they have on each other in every segment, I told John this had me dying because they attacked each other like three times in one episode of Raw. Every time someone tries to get a word in edgewise, here they come. So the match itself didn't disappoint. Um, Bronson Reed came out. Seth Rollins met him at the ramp, so they pretty much got the going. Um, the match was cool. I loved it. It was physical. Bronson Reed was giving everything to Seth Rollins. Um, Seth Rollins was pretty much playing that David versus Goliath. I did not expect Bronson Reed to lose. I actually had him beat Seth Rollins to further his stock, but it took three curve stomps, which one of them was from the top rope, to put him down, and it only put him down for about 4 seconds because the dude got up, bloody face and all, and just staring at Seth Rollins like Texas, like one of those Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies where you think you got the monster, and when you're leaving, the monster's still standing there looking at you like, "Oh, I'm gonna see you again. Don't worry about it." So I personally thought um, Bronson Reed was going to win this, but I'm okay with him losing if the end game is Bronson Reed getting the best of Seth Rollins in the end. If that's the case, I'm happy with it. But if not, I think they dropped the ball, not giving the victory to Bronson Reed because they're trying to build him up as this Australian version of Mark Henry when he went on that Hall of Fame run, where the dude was unstoppable that led him to a championship. And based on what I saw on Monday Night Raw between Ludwig and Gunther, if they're planning a Gunther face turn, I can see Bronson Reed being that Mark Henry and easily getting himself a world heavyweight championship in the beginning of the year.
Mm.
So if that's the case, I'm all for it because the stock in Bronson Reed is high. And it was very evident when Triple H took control of creative, he was one of the first people he brought back immediately. Like immediately, he was one of the first guys that came back to NXT and came back to WWE. So he saw something in Bronson a long time ago, and now to see it happen, I'm glad. So Seth Rollins wins. Cash, I know you got something cooking. What did you think about this match, man? Seth Rollins getting that dub over Bronson Reed.
Well, as long as it leads to Bronson going on his monster heel run, I initially wanted this match to start up the ramp, and I wanted it to go 7 minutes. And the reason why I say 7 minutes is I wanted the first couple of minutes to be like a good back and forth, and then the following 5 minutes were to be Bronson Reed squashing Seth Rollins the entire match, which I think they're saving that for another time. But the next time that they wrestle, Bronson needs to squash Seth Rollins with at least 10 tsunamis to the point where you can't even pin him. You got to carry him out. And I'm talking about last man standing match or an ambulance match, a stretcher match. I'd even take a stretcher match, and then where they're carrying Seth out on the stretcher, Bronson goes to like the top rope and comes off the top rope outside the ring onto the stretcher where Seth Rollins is at and breaks the stretcher. Like, that's what needs to happen. If we're going to introduce Bronson Reed as this unkillable monster, he needs to kill all the heroes, kill all the faces. What made Undertaker scary back in the early 90s was he went after all the faces.
Right.
And every face that he went at, he put down definitively. When they Braun Strowman's 2017 run, he put down everybody. He had Roman looking like a rag doll. When we book a monster, he has to be dominant in victory, and even in defeat, he has to be dominant to the point you have to pull out all the stops to beat him. And that's exactly what they did. But the way this should end is with Bronson Reed squashing Seth Rollins or beating him until you find out what God he prays to, because he don't pray to God. He gonna find out what God to pray to if he's dealing with Bronson Reed. I want to see 6 to 10 tsunamis from Bronson Reed to Seth Rollins. Do it however you got to do it. The Seth needs to be squashed by Bronson Reed, and he needs to move on. He doesn't need a title. He just needs to destroy people.
And I'll say this real quick. I would see you jumping off the top rope onto the stretcher and remind you that this man jumped off of a brick. I would say it was a highway wall or some shit onto a car to Braun Strowman. So I see him jumping from the ambulance.
I'd be okay.
Yeah. Hey, do what you gotta do.
Lord. Y'all trying to get Seth Rollins killed.
I mean, basically, from what he was saying on the pivot, he's close to the end of the road. So why not have Bronson Reed help him out on that?
And Corey Graves say he's seen him limping. So
yeah. Go ahead, John.
Oh boy, I did not see Seth Rollins winning this match, but Bronson Reed, Cole is calling him an Auszilla because he's an Australian Godzilla. I mean, man, this dude is a problem. We saw the glimpses of this in NXT, and obviously he became North American champion, and then obviously he got released after that, and like Trell brought up, Triple H brought him back, and he's been a monster. And now the feud with Strowman, the last monster standing, and now, but it all started with what happened after the Raw after SummerSlam, when you squashed Seth Rollins. And I do agree with Trell. This is kind of redolent to the Hall of Pain tour. It is like, man, this is like a tsunami storm that's just going through Monday Night Raw right now. Bronson Reed's gonna take everyone through that tornado as long as he's standing. And Damian Priest told him he owes him a receipt now. Obviously, you took out Sheamus. Obviously, you still took out Seth Rollins. But man, if this, like you said, doesn't end with him like really cashing in on this just run of dominance, it's worth nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Because when Mark Henry was on that run, he took out Big Show, he took out Kane, he took out everyone. Randy Orton, he took out Randy Orton with ease. To be honest. So, and that run he had with the World Heavyweight Championship, that was a dominant run by him. So
add Sheamus to that list too.
Yeah, and he dominated Sheamus. So because Triple H is a historian, he likes to repeat history in a different form. So if this is the route he's going, we are looking at Bronson Reed becoming World Heavyweight Champion. And what if that championship is on the line in the Elimination Chamber I would not be surprised if that man walks out World Heavyweight Champion. I mean, he's not winning the Rumble, but he's either winning the Chamber or something, or he could be the one that's facing Gunther at WrestleMania if it isn't Braun Breaker. Or he could target Braun Breaker for all we know, because Braun Breaker is going to need a big time challenger, and who better than him? So maybe that would be one of the guys Braun Breaker can't beat. He loses to him, and then Braun Breaker focuses on the World Heavyweight Championship, because the way he's going, he's bound for a World Heavyweight Championship spot. So it's either going to be Braun Breaker or Bronson Reed becoming World Heavyweight Champion. But by the end of the year, beginning of next year, somewhere along those lines, Bronson Reed will be having championship gold around his. Well, I'm not going to say waist; it's not going to fit. So I guess I'm going to say like around his shoulders.
Yeah,
He's gonna be like Nia Jax.
around his neck.
Yeah, I was going to say he's going to
He
wear
probably
that
could have
necklace.
wore one of them crown jewel belts.
Yeah,
Definitely.
No, he gonna melt that shit.
Paul.
He gonna melt that title into a chain and just rock that shit.
I can see him.
I can see
I
it.
can see him because to me, watching Bronson Reed is like, damn, I wish they did that with Samoa Joe.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Man, I wish things were
they
so
tried
different.
to. They tried to.
Yeah, and plus he kept getting injured, kept getting concussions and stuff like that, so I get it. But man, they should have struck when the iron was hot with that whole Lesnar feud. But that's a whole topic for a different for a different day. Because man, I can go on the horrible waste of talent that they had. Next up, we have the man of the hour that we talked about earlier, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. There was no definitive winner on this one. Some of us had KO winning, some of us had Randy Orton winning. But I think so too, AC. I think Braun Breaker is probably going to be the one to retire Goldberg, and hopefully I'm in the house to see it.
Spear.
I'm throwing something on the grill when he does it.
Well, I was thinking Gunther. They planted the seeds for him and Gunther, so I was thinking Gunther.
I hope it's not, because Goldberg doesn't need a championship match. It'll be too obvious. If it is Gunther, I don't know how they're gonna put that in, because if it's 2025, then it's WrestleMania, and if it's WrestleMania, it has to be Braun Breaker. It has to be.
No, actually, I got the perfect opponent, bro. Like, if you're gonna retire Goldberg, like, you got to get a young talent like Bret Hart with an AK-47 and just have him go out there and fucking shoot Goldberg right then and there on the spot. Bret Hart retires Goldberg for real. Shoots him
Damn.
dead. Shoots him dead.
Damn, that's
Culture Clash Network.
That'll be some goddamn truth, some long-term storytelling for real.
Again, Braun Breaker can do it. You know, Bret Hart being his corner. But this match did really get started because Kevin Owens came in first. Orton came in with a slow walked around the ring, did his pose. Kevin Owens attacked him in the leg with a chair, and all hell breaks loose pretty much all over Saudi, which led to Kevin Owens going all the way top to, I don't know what it was, some platform up top.
It was a stairwell.
Stairwell. Did a swanton on Randy Orton. Pretty much takes Randy Orton out. So the match never got started, so we don't have a winner. So I'm guessing we're going to run this back. I'm assuming Saturday night's main event, me and John agreed on that. It's probably going to be in December. They run this back, and then they go from there. Maybe it bleeds into the Royal Rumble match itself. But for them to not have a match, I thought it was good because Orton shouldn't be taking any losses, and the streak that Kevin Owens is on right now, he really shouldn't be eating a loss right now either. So to have this go no contest, I thought it was a good move booking wise, and it plays up to the unpredictability of Kevin Owens. because, man, Adam Pearce needs to read the room and realize that Randy Orton isn't on your roster because, man, that RKO, when dude took that RKO, it's like, this goes back to when Randy Orton paid that fine months ago.
He was like, for the next time.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was that next time. So, in other words, Nick Aldis, don't come at me with a fine because I already paid it last year.
The bullet Nick Aldis.
Yeah, because Nick Aldis saw that. He looked at Pierce on the ground, looked at Orton. He's like, "Good day, mate," and he left. So that was a good call on him. So, what did you think of Cash? I'm gonna start with you. How they booked this non-match that didn't take place, and having pretty much Kevin Owens pretty much putting Randy Orton down.
Well, first we got to go back to when Nick Aldis basically looked at him, looked down, and was like, "Tough break, nigga. I'm out." He looked down like, damn. He like, damn, that's crazy. Tough break. I'm out.
That was
and they got
that was when they saw the whites.
He was like, yeah, nah, bro, this ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm about to go catch up with Mickey James real quick. So what I thought about this was great. Neither could afford to take a loss, but I got to be completely honest. We got to get a Falls Count Anywhere match between Orton and Kevin Owens, because at this point, that obviously the ring is not big enough for them. So they need to take the fight outside, whether it be a last man standing match, Falls Count Anywhere, no holds barred, whatever they want to do. The fact of the matter is that I'm assuming that if KO is going to wrestle Cody at Survivor Series, that Orton will cost him the match, and then possibly next month we get the Falls Count Anywhere match. And depending on how that goes, will depend on who has the most momentum heading into the Royal Rumble. But I want to ask you guys a question. Do you feel personally, throughout all of his accomplishments, that Kevin Owens should more than likely get a world title run next year? Because I feel like he's long overdue for one.
Yeah. Who's he gonna beat? I don't know.
I don't know, but he's definitely due for one, because he's proved that he's reliable. He's proved that he can adapt to every situation. And the funny thing is that WWE trusted Kevin Owens, of all people, to wrestle Stone Cold Steve Austin. WWE rewarded Kevin Owens the following WrestleMania with a WrestleMania main event, even though he had already just main evented against arguably, which I don't think this is an argument, but we'll say arguably the greatest WWE superstar of all time in Stone Cold Steve Austin. The biggest thing.
No arguments for me.
And no arguments for me.
Me either.
But what I would like to say is that Randy Orton should – I'm going to make a bold claim here. I know we talk about John Cena breaking Flair's record. Honestly, I thought it should have been Randy instead, because Randy had not left to go pursue Hollywood. He's been a mainstay. Like he stayed, and he still built his foundation up with the new talent. And Randy Orton had went back to NXT a few times. I kind of don't really think that Cena should get the dub on that. I think it should be Orton, but we got a ways before we even get to that. But personally, the match was great. It was what the Saudi crowd needed. Definitely gave them that involvement and entertainment aspect. And I'd like to see it again. I don't think they should have an official match until there's going to be a definitive winner. Let them tear up the arena again.
Yeah, I was just thinking right now when you was talking about Orton and Kevin Owens. Now it reminds me to the original theory I had. Because you notice that every now and then Orton keeps looking at that WWE Championship. So my thing is, Cody beats KO, Orton gets his match at the Royal Rumble instead of The Rock. I say that to say this because you can have Roman Reigns in the Rumble, and then when the number hits whatever number it is, you have The Rock come out in the Rumble. And then I don't know if either one of them is going to win the Rumble or not, but that's how you can get that Mania match. Or maybe you can have, I think Jay was the one that said it, you have night 1 and night 2.
Right.
Roman Reigns can do double duty again. And you still wind up getting Cody versus The Rock. I don't know. But I think
or triple threat. Triple threat too.
Yeah. Or triple threat. But
yeah, but I think it'd be better. It'd be better if they do it night 1, night 2. Roman versus Rock, then Roman wins versus Rock, or either Rock versus Cody, and then have Roman versus Rock with the title. You know,
Right?
Yeah, but it's like getting Roman and Cody for the 3rd year in a row. It's like, I mean, we've seen it. You know, how they gonna do it differently? I think
it wouldn't be Roman versus Cody. Because you got to.
I mean,
think about the
Cody has to fight one of them.
You got to face the Rock. Because the bigger payoff would be Rock and Roman.
So Rock beats Cody and then faces Roman.
Night 1 and then night 2 defense against. So you have Rock as the champion for 24 hours.
Basically.
Nah. And I respectfully disagree with your point, but you do make a great point. If The Rock is going to have a championship, he needs to win it right away to start the year off. Because heading into WrestleMania 40, when Rock even we'll go as far back as WrestleMania 19, right? When Rock is a heel, he builds the feud on his own. Like when he built the feud with Stone Cold Steve Austin in WrestleMania 19, Austin wasn't even really needed. Rock did all of the legwork. And what is the one thing that we all remember from the build up to WrestleMania 40 was The Rock whooping Cody's ass in the fucking rain like a fucking supervillain. That's a supervillain kind of thing to do. And having Rock as champion, and then with the new bloodline behind him, he's calling the shots, getting people packed up. Motherfuckers is getting spun round and kung loud out the fucking venue. That's the kind of Rock that we need, that cuts promos on the fans, tells people to go fuck themselves, says, hey, I literally can buy you. I make more money than you. Know your role, shut your mouth, keep smoking crack. That's the Rock that we all know and miss. So to have him as champion.
I got you one better.
Go for it.
We could do all of that all at once. We still have Orton versus Cody. Cody beats Orton. And then you still got Elimination Chamber. The Rock can beat Cody Rhodes at the Elimination Chamber.
Do you think that The Rock would put The Rock on a B show pay-per-view like Elimination Chamber though?
If it's out of the country, I do. If it's out
road
of the
to
country,
WrestleMania.
I do. If it's out of the country, I believe it. Yeah.
And which he appeared at Bad Blood, but he obviously didn't wrestle. The reason why I say that is The Rock needs to be treated as an attraction, which he is.
Joe.
Hey, what's going on, Joe? Good to see you. The Rock needs to be treated as an attraction. Even though the Elimination Chamber, they're trying to make it like a side. It's like you have the big four, and then you have like the other PLEs that are not the big four, but still get treated as a big deal. Like there were people that were thinking The Rock and Roman should have kind of went at it at Elimination Chamber, and then the winner faced Cody at WrestleMania 40. Well, that's fine, but again, The Rock needs to be treated as an attraction, and there's no bigger attractions than the big four PLEs, which are Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So if I'm going to use The Rock for anything, it has to mean something instead of being a transitional champion. If you're just a transitional champion, you don't have a lot of momentum going into WrestleMania. For example, if I basically when The Miz cashed in and won from Drew McIntyre, he was a transitional champion to Bobby Lashley. And that going into that WrestleMania, you can't have transitional champions that are basically going to be cannon fodder to whoever they eventually lose to. Now, Bobby Lashley
Right.
won, but eventually that title got taken off of him by Big E. But when you have
Right.
people who win championships, go like Bray Wyatt, 2017 Elimination Chamber, pinned the champion Cena. Cena won at the Royal Rumble from AJ Styles to transition into the following pay-per-view just to lose it. Now, then he's put in a tag team match at WrestleMania. Bray's a transitional champion to Orton, who eventually won the Royal Rumble. And that champion ended up losing to Jinder Mahal. So it was like people were playing hot potato with the title. If you win the championship, it has to mean something. And having
Right.
the
I get
Rock,
what you're saying, but
that's how
and
I see it.
right. But in a way, either way it goes, whether he wins at the Rumble or wins at the Chamber, the Rock's gonna be a transitional champion to Roman Reigns if the end game is him versus Roman Reigns. So that's what I'm saying. Because how long are you gonna prolong Randy Orton from getting the title shot? What's the point of him planting the seeds of a heel turn if by the time WrestleMania comes around, Cody Rhodes is not even going to be champion? So
Fuck it. Let's do Rock and Orton.
well, the end game is supposed to be Orton retiring John Cena not at WrestleMania, but be one of his final opponents at WrestleMania. So he's gonna be busy. So that's what I'm saying. Give him his title. I'm not saying have Orton win, but give Orton his title shot at the Royal Rumble. And then either way it goes, The Rock's gonna win the championship off of Cody. And if the end game is correct, The Rock's not gonna have that title for long anyway. So because he's not gonna have him like Brock Lesnar and hold the championship hostage while he's gone making movies. So he's gonna wind up losing to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania unless Cody Rhodes beats The Rock at WrestleMania for the championship. But I don't see either way it goes, he's still gonna be, if he wins it, he's gonna drop it at WrestleMania either to Roman Reigns if they do Roman Reigns this year instead of next year.
Mm-hmm.
So, John, what you think?
All right, so back to KO and Randy. Just beat the living hell out of each other, for crying out loud. I don't care. That's exactly what it looked like. By the way, again, Saudi understands the assignment with the sing-alongs. But man, and I see what Coach Kleins is saying about Rock. We'll get to that comment in a second. But it was exactly what it is. I mean, I don't know why I didn't even think about this when we was previewing this last week, Trail. That this could have definitely been an option. I could have seen it honestly ended in disqualification, but none of us. I don't think it totally passed my mind. This match wouldn't even start, and it didn't. And they made sure to hint that in the commentary with Cole and Graves, like, did the bell ring? Like, no, the bell didn't ring. And it was just an all-out onslaught. You get a stunner. You get an RKO. You get these hands. You get these hands. Until it spoils out into the Saudi crowd. And Kevin Owens goes airborne and crashes Randy through a table. And he's getting carted out of Saudi. Carted. They put him on the back of one of those carts that the custodians used to drive around our high schools just to get him back to the locker room. So, like, we was talking about it, Trail was talking about it yesterday, and Cash kind of hinted on it. If it happens either at Survivor Series or Saturday Night Main Event, it's got to be like a no-holds barred, something where, or you just, like you said, don't start the match again. Just keep an all-out onslaught where they just can't. These dudes cannot be in a ring together. Where Triple H is gonna have to just pull the ultimate trump card, no pun intended, and say what it's gonna be. This is what it is, and this is what it's gonna be. But I'm loving this rivalry because they're just really just beating the living crap out of each other. And I think maybe living for this type of stuff because we don't know how much he got left. And I think that was real key for Triple H to mention that in that promo. We don't know how much time Randy Orton got left. He claims he got another 5 left in him, but we don't know. But Kevin Owens, when he's a super heel and just a dude you can't trust, he's like the one dude on your team where, okay, the dude's a scumbag, but he's ours. I mean, using the AEW reference, he's a scumbag, but he's our scumbag. You know what I'm saying? So he's going to keep being this scumbag that everyone hates. And then him and Orton are going to put on a banger match. They're going to beat the crap out of each other, but eventually there will be a winner.
Yeah, I think so. Now, you know how sometimes they bring back these old matches from the grave. We already got a stretcher match made its return for the first time in a long time. We recently had Hell in the Cell become one match to end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
What if they bring back a 3 stages of hell?
I can see it. I haven't seen. I
love it.
We haven't seen it since Triple H and Stone Cold.
The last one I remember.
No Way Out 2001.
Yeah, about
that
that time.
I remember was Orton and Batista. Or was it Triple H and Orton? Orton was in it because it was during the Legacy days. I'm trying to remember, was it him versus? I think it was him versus Batista.
And they had 3 stages of hell.
I'm trying to remember. One match, it was a one fall. I think a no holds barred, and then the match, the final one was a stretcher. Was a stretcher match.
Wait a minute, hold on, no, wait. So it was in 2009.
Yes,
it was.
Yes.
And now, wait a minute, because now that I think about it, it was right after that was John Cena and Ryback. And then we recently got it in 2019 with Johnny Gargano and Adam Cole.
Oh, yeah, in NXT.
Oh,
yeah.
That's right. That's right. So it's been a while since we had these matches. So to bring that back for Orton and KO, that'd be perfect. You have all those matches in one, so it'll be a definitive and final winner of that match, and they can do that at Saturday night's main event, or they can do it at the Royal Rumble before the Rumble match. So that could be the payoff match for them, and then they can move on from there. Kevin Owens can probably move on to Sami Zayn, and Orton can move on to Cody. Which again, that could also lead to the Chamber. So maybe the Chamber has the WWE Championship on the line, and for that match, and then the winner becomes champion, goes on to Mania and defends the title at Mania, which more likely would probably be The Rock, because if I think they're still building up between either Solo and Roman or Roman and Jacob, which I'm thinking is probably gonna be Roman and Jacob at Mania. So if they're building that, Roman's probably gonna be busy and not be for the championships. It still might be Cody Rhodes and The Rock for the WWE Championship, and that one for me is a toss-up because The Rock can still wind up winning it, and since he's the final boss, he can do whatever he wants with the title. He can go to the movie set with it. He can pull up whenever he wants. So either The Rock wins or Cody gets his revenge a year later and pins The Rock. So
Rock wins the championship and he defends it against Vin Diesel at Fast and Furious 11.
It's all about the family.
I can't wait to the second part of that movie. I can't wait to part 2. I hated that cliffhanger in part 1. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to that happening. So speaking of matches here, we're down to the final 2 matches. The Crown Jewel Championship for the women's match, Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. And once again, this is one of the matches I was wrong on because I had Nia Jax. I'm not going to say squash Liv Morgan because Liv Morgan had backup, but I had somehow, some way, Nia Jax walking out as the winner because she has Naomi on the horizon coming up real soon. So I figured she'd be dominant, get that win, because Liv Morgan will be all right with a loss. Because eventually she would get Rhea Ripley when she comes back. So I thought Nia was going to win that. Almost had a cash in, but I guess Tiffy time was too soon because Nia Jax like, what the hell you doing here? I didn't call you out here. This ain't the time yet. So between that, Raquel, Dominic Mysterio getting involved, somehow Liv Morgan hit the Oblivion, which was kind of sorry on Nia Jax as she sold it, and somehow Liv Morgan pins Nia Jax to become the first ever Women's Crown Jewel champion. And thankfully, the belt doesn't leave Saudi; it gets put on display. So she winds up getting a Crown Jewel ring, which I told John this. Triple H was saying to Tony Khan, "Fuck you and your Dynamite ring."
Really did.
We got the crown jewel ring here. So she winds up winning that match. Cash, what you think, man? Did they make the right call on the right woman winning that match, or was Liv supposed to win it?
So I'm going to be completely honest. Like, the match was kind of ass, just because the direction of should I even see his comment? But yeah, that shit was big mid. Which is, because I'm a fan of both of these women, but I do need to point out that this is the second time that Liv Morgan has beaten Nia Jax this year.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't like this was a fluke win. She's done it before. The thing is, so she beat her right, I'd say around Mayish or something like that. There was interference from Naomi, which caused Tiffany to
yeah. All right, cool. All right, my bad.
No, you all good, bro. That's what all of us are here for. We all historians. We care about the history. Like, we care about. Anyway, getting back to it. So, like, Liv has had better matches. Nia's had better matches. Honestly, I just felt like the chemistry was kind of off. They had better chemistry when they wrestled on Monday Night Raw. But the fact of the matter is that Liv Morgan was the right person to win this, because Liv kind of needed this a little bit more than Nia did, just for the simple fact that Nia is still dominant and she wasn't cleanly pinned by Liv Morgan. And just the same way that when she lost to her last time, she wasn't cleanly pinned. That's fine. But the way that they did it, something had to happen. And Nia's going to crash out on Tiffany because she basically cost her the championship. But at the same time, it wasn't her actual championship. You know what I'm saying? What matters is Liv needed this because she, aside from anybody, had the hottest storyline aside from Drew and Punk of 2024, to the point that it was recognized on a national level where people overseas are like, yo, we want some of that over here. Fox News is tweeting about the shit, and Fox News don't give a shit about wrestling. But the fact is, Liv has put in a lot of work, so she definitely deserved this. Because if you look at her championship run in 2022, people had turned on her. People turned on her right after SummerSlam. And once they turned on her, it seemed like she wasn't ever going to recover from it. And when she had started 2024, she had beaten Bianca, she had beaten Becky, she had beaten Nia Jax, she had beaten Rhea Ripley. That is a who's who of top stars in the women's division to beat, okay? And with the story with Dominic Mysterio, it took off and it shot a rocket. This is the best work of her career. She has never been in a storyline where she was the focal point of a breakup in a faction, a heel faction that caused a separate split and a butterfly effect to go separate ways for different people who were all involved. Because now that Becky Lynch probably is not going to come back to WWE, you got Liv Morgan right there, and it's going to be hard for people to accept the fact that she's going to have to be transitioned into superstardom status because she's on her way there. So what she needs is a definitive win at WrestleMania 41 against Rhea Ripley, and she needs to beat her clean this time. No interference, no bullshit, no shenanigans, none of that. Beat her clean, make her a star, a superstar.
So have her go undefeated against Rhea Ripley.
Yeah, I won't say undefeated, but just like
she hasn't lost against Rhea yet.
Well, she was pinned by her at Bash in Berlin, so that technically counts for something.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, people were because here's the thing. When we talk about that, this is like when people talk about Undertaker and Brock Lesnar, people are like, oh, Undertaker has never pinned Brock Lesnar. Well, yeah, he has. He's pinned Brock Lesnar before. Clean. On an episode of SmackDown, it was a three-way match with Big Show, Undertaker, and Brock Lesnar for who would face Kurt Angle for his Undisputed Championship. The fact of the matter is she needs a clean win. She pinned Becky at King and Queen of the Ring, pinned Bianca at Elimination Chamber, Nia Jax. Liv Morgan needs to get clean wins because now people are going to be like, oh, she can't win clean. And she can. Get it done.
Yeah. John, what you think, man?
Was shocked. This was the outcome, but like Cash said, you're right. Nia didn't need it. She's been on a road of dominance since coming back, and obviously, like I said, it ended the same way. I think Liv Morgan matches are going to end now that Raquel Rodriguez is back in the fold. With her, if she's going to pull off an upset, it's going to be some shenanigans. Obviously, you could easily have Nia just squash her like a bug, but then that would have been too kind of peculiar. But then I had to think about it when she lost, when Nia won. I mean, when Liv won. Were they going to really, and this goes into the final match we're going to talk about, were they really going to double down on the King and Queen of the Ring, basically pulling the Triple Crown from Saudi to Saudi? Nia winning Queen of the Ring in Saudi, goes to SummerSlam, becomes women's champion. Then you cap that off with her winning the Crown Jewel title back in Saudi. But they went with Liv Morgan. And obviously, you throw in the Tiffy time element where she's trying to play like, oh, I'm going to cash in on you, but maybe I'm cashing in on you. I don't know who I'm cashing in on. And it pretty much throws Nia off her game because she's like, not now. This was not the spot. I was going to squash her for you, and then when it's time, boom, give the referee the briefcase, pin her, and let's go. But Liv got the dub, thanks to Raquel and Dominic, and she got that big fat ring on her finger. And like Cash said, this is the best work of her career. Coming back in number 30 in the Royal Rumble, she pins Bianca Belair in the Elimination Chamber. She basically cost him pinning Rhea Ripley. Obviously, just having a run where she's beating these dominant stars, where when she won Money in the Bank in 2022, which I predicted and I actually wanted for her, the run was pretty much blah because, she beat Ronda Rousey, but you think about how she beat her. Ronda Rousey has her in an ankle lock, and then she does the roll-up pin because she has to hold her down for like 3 seconds, and then she beats Shayna Baszler. She beats Ronda Rousey again at SummerSlam, beats Shayna Baszler at Clash at the Castle, then eventually loses to Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match, which is crazy because as cuckoo as Liv Morgan is, she should have been the one to beat Ronda Rousey in an Extreme Rules match. If you want to have Ronda Rousey beat her, it might have been better for her to beat her at SummerSlam, but obviously they threw Shayna Baszler in the mix, and they don't want Ronda and Shayna clashing that soon. But it was like I said, like my man Brandon Bean said, it was a mid match, but Liv got the OG diamond ring times 10.
Mm-hmm. Jay, what you think of the match, and did you have Liv Morgan winning?
No, I think we all had the same thing going on with Nia Jax because it's Nia Jax. But as John said, I was thinking about it, and it was like, are you going to have two SmackDown superstars win the Crown Jewel championships? Or are you going to have the King and Queen of the Ring win those championships? Nah, it doesn't. It wouldn't have played well because you need tension for both shows. So and then also thinking about it, who, what Liv got going on after them destroying Rhea Ripley. So
Yeah.
she needs something to elevate her to that level to where, okay, now you're a target. Now you have, people have to come after you. You ain't just old goofy Liv Morgan that used to dress like Harley Quinn in in the Riot Squad. You are actually Liv freaking Watch Me Morgan.
Yeah.
And I'm
Sheesh.
I'm gonna throw a shout out to one of my one of my partners and one of my spoke talk with friends mates. Toot Twan, I told you, it's live time.
I
Like it
told
really
you.
is.
Been saying it.
Been saying it
Yeah.
because it's like I seen it. I seen it when she was in NXT. You know, she has that potential, and now that she got her queen's court, should I say? Because they work for her. I'm sorry to say it. She's the leader of that group. She just took Rhea Ripley's place. She's the
Hmm.
leader, and she's bringing them to new levels. I mean, the tag team champions haven't done stuff in about 2 months, but Dom, Raquel, and her, they've been the main attraction.
Yep.
Yeah, Raquel is fine as hell, but that's a different story
Oh yeah,
for
that's another
for
one of my babies.
that's just my bad. It's a Texas thing. Y'all wouldn't understand. Um,
Hey, it's a down
uh,
south thing. You wouldn't understand.
uh,
Oh boy.
I was born and raised in Texas, so I understand plenty. Um, Now, speaking of kings and queens, the reigning and defending king in the ring, aka the world heavyweight champion Gunther, went against Cody Rhodes for the Crown Jewel Championship. I had at first I had Gunther winning, but then I've told this to John, I've told this to people multiple times. If your name isn't Roman Reigns, the WWE Championship should not be losing to a world heavyweight champion.
Hmm.
Um, and outside of Roman Reigns, it really hasn't really happened. So, but the surprise factor of it all is Cody Rhodes going with the Bret Hart effect and pinning Gunther clean on a counter to the sleeper, a la Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. Or if you want to take it further than that, Survivor Series Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Right.
1996 in the Garden.
Yep. So the fact that happened clean, I wasn't expecting Gunther to have a loss so early in his World Heavyweight Championship reign. But I've always stuck with this theory that once your undefeated streak is broken, you're bound for a loss at any given time. Anywhere, any place, it's no longer the mystique of it because once you get beaten, you're beaten. So for Cody to go over and pin Gunther after a phenomenal match. I mean, disaster case. You had the sleep. The sleeper was pretty much the game plan for Gunther. He told the story that by hell or high water, I was putting you to sleep, and so Gunther was hell bent on putting this man to sleep, but he got him clean. 1, 2, 3. Gunther and Cody, they had a little chit chat in the middle of the ring, raised his hand, and then he left. So Cody winning, I figured, was a good move because, again, like I said, WWE champion should not lose to the World Heavyweight Champion, no matter who it is. I mean, the World Heavyweight Championship is in good hands with Gunther, so it's already going to be elevated because he's elevated that title since Seth Rollins. So he's going to be all right. I thought the match was good. Cody wins, I almost called it the Dynamite ring, gets the Crown Jewel ring, celebrates in the ring with Liv Morgan. Pyro goes off. I thought it was good for them. Like we all said, Liv deserved it. Cody, he needed a win because he's always been either on the receiving end of a couple of losses, beatdowns. I think his only victory so far recently has been him and Roman Reigns against the Bloodline. So, and then that against Solo or whatever, but that was like months ago. But Cash, what's next for Cody? And based on Monday Night Raw, are we gonna get a Gunther face turn?
We could potentially. When we're speaking of the Crown Jewel Championship, for all my anime watchers, we consider Crown Jewel a non-canon event. I look at it as a showcase and not necessarily like, unless it's following a story, it's like these are all non-canon matches. Gunther, in my opinion, was my pick to win just because I felt he needed it more. Cody could afford to take a loss and it wouldn't hurt his credibility. However, we could kind of say the same thing for Gunther because of the way that they did it. He just got caught off guard, but he didn't take a crossroads and was completely dead and took the murder move and looked weak in defeat. It was he got caught off guard, which is completely normal. He made just a minor mistake and it cost him the match. He wasn't down and out. He wasn't completely finished. He just got caught off guard. That still protects Gunther. We could potentially get a Gunther face turn, but he's been doing so much great work as a heel. I don't want him to do a face turn. I can't. But we're I think after he loses the championship, a Gunther face turn should be imminent. But I still want to see Gunther and Cena. I still want to see Gunther go into heel mode against Cena. And I want Cena to do the one thing that he does after every promo he receives from his opponent. He takes off his hat and he says the words, "Fine speech." You got there. As soon as he says that, that person is getting cut the fuck up. Anytime John Cena says fine speech, just sit back. You about to get your ass roasted. Gunther face turn is not going to necessarily happen. They're teasing it, but he's doing so much great work as a bad guy. I really don't want to see him turn face. And he has my favorite promo so far, which was the one against Goldberg at Bad Blood.
Oh yeah,
I would love to see a promo battle with him and Cena. You know, John Cena is John Cena. He can bury anybody at any given time. To see Gunther have a retort and try to put him down and get under his skin, that's going to be something I would love to see, because you don't see John Cena get rattled on the mic by anybody unless it was The Rock, because The Rock's probably like the only one that could go with him. So to have Gunther be this cocky heel, dominant heel that wins all his matches clean. He's the only heel I've seen in a long time that wins all his matches and none of them were suspect. All of them were clean. Mm-hmm. So he's a throwback to that wrestler's wrestler. Like, he didn't need shenanigans. He needs steel chairs. He needs outside interference. He gets the job done. So to see him, with Cena having this retirement tour, I'm trying to figure out who are the people he's going to beat and who are the people he's going to lose, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to go the entire year on a losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
So he should lose to he should definitely lose to Gunther. He should beat Carmelo Hayes, but he should lose to LA Knight. He should definitely lose to LA Knight. They've already teased that before. You should lose to LA Knight.
LA Knight by that time should be heel.
He should lose to Trick Williams too.
I was just about to say that. Is it going to be strictly main roster, or is he going to go to NXT?
He should go to NXT.
He definitely should lose the Trick. Definitely.
Unless Trick gets called up to the main roster.
That could also be like Trick's first match on the main roster.
Yeah, that'd be a hell of a match too.
And I want to see Cena and Ilya Dragunov. I just want to see it. I don't care how you get there. I don't care how you do it. Just get there.
That's gonna be
Well, he tore his
fire.
ACL, so I don't know if that's gonna be anytime soon.
I know,
Yeah.
but it's like
Yeah,
something.
yeah. I mean, Braun Breaker is another one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like I can see Cena beating Braun Breaker, but I can see Braun Breaker getting him a run for his money. Like, kid, you got something. You're better than your old man and your uncle. You know, put these guys over that he beat, and yeah, man, because you're right. Gunther needed. I think Gunther probably needed it more. But like you said, the way he lost, it wasn't like he took 3 crossroads to get it done or anything like that. Because that would have pretty much decredit all of Gunther's work since coming into the company. Because we said it many times, and Gunther said it many times. 80% of the time he's been in the company, he's been a champion. So to have him
Yeah.
lose like that to Cody, it would have been a big mistake to go through the old school way of having him lose like a Bret Hart, Roddy Piper moment where he's so hell bent on the sleeper he gets bit. So now Gunther's next opponent is I forgot who it was. Was it Sheamus?
What?
No, it's Damian
His next
Priest.
Damian Priest.
Damian Priest, yeah. So they're about to run that back. So Gunther to be all right. Cody Rhodes does need a win because right now I don't know who his next opponent is going to be. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin Owens. I don't know if it's going to be Randy Orton because those two are not done yet. So I don't know where Cody's going to go from here. So I guess it was best for Cody to win because right now we don't know what Cody's going to be up to in December. He might not even have a match. He might be in a tag team match. He might do an appearance at Saturday Night's main event. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but the bloodline business is already up and going. So right now he doesn't really have a challenger. So I'm with you on that one. It did benefit Cody better to win. Gunther's going to have Priest. He's going to beat Priest. He's not losing to Priest. So he's going to beat him clean with no interference. Yeah, and that's how pretty much I see it. John, what you think?
Yeah, we all agree. We all thought it was going to be Gunther, but obviously seeing how Cody won. And I'm not mistaken, didn't he beat Brock like that too the first time?
Something like that, yeah.
Kimura. It was a
like,
Kimura.
Okay, cool. So it didn't shock me how the ending. I mean, okay, that fits Cody, and obviously you see he earned that Gunther respect, which is making us kind of prepare for a Gunther face turn. After Kaiser kind of didn't want to give Cody his props Monday on Raw, and like I was saying in the last segment, it didn't make it. They weren't going to triple crown the King and Queen of the Ring. This makes sense to split, have one of them win, and that's pretty much how they played out. Cody needs another. Doesn't really need the dub, but obviously we don't know when his next match. Obviously, we assume that his next title match will probably be Saturday Night Main Event, probably against. I don't know. I mean, I know a lot of reports were saying Kevin Owens at first, but we got to see what happens with him and Randy. But Cody didn't bother me as bad as a man. A lot of people, Cody, I was very polarizing on social media, but a win is a win, and we know Gunther is gonna still thrive from this. Obviously, with him and Priest locked up for their rematch, I think it's gonna be a better match than it was this summer.
Yeah. Jay, what you think, man? How did you think that match went?
Again, I'm like with y'all fellas. Really, truly, I didn't have a precise winner. I really couldn't call it because it was that close for me. I believe Cody could have won, and I believe Gunther could have won. But how it played out for as Cody winning, you know, reversing the sleeper, classic, classic, beautiful because it just plays into the fact that Cody just kind of out wrestled him a little bit. Even though he was playing the mind games, Cody like used those mind games to out wrestle him a little bit. So
Shout out to Nessa.
it
What's up, Nessa?
it plays into the fact that Cody.
Hey, that's my co-host. Go ahead.
Cody.
Not
Oh,
much
okay.
green
Shout
in
out to
the
you.
building. Not much green in the building.
But it plays into the fact Cody is a student of the game, and that his reign is here to stay. He has something to prove because Gunther, he's proved it already. He's beaten every person that you could probably put against him. He
Mhm.
beat Damian Priest. He beat Drew McIntyre. He beat Sheamus. He beat I- he beat everybody except for Brock Lesnar. And that's the only
Yeah.
notable win that like Cody has over him. So like I said, when I was talking to you and Dell once upon a time, um, you know, what opponents can you put Cody up against? Who is there for him to face? Over there on Raw, Gunther has everybody. SmackDown is kind of lacking those big figures. You have your Randys. I'm not, no disrespect to Randy, no disrespect to KO, but just looking at it, Raw has that stacked roster. So Cody's
Well,
title reign, I feel like it's gonna be, it's kind of gonna be mellow like without the
it could
bloodline.
change. It could change when the Netflix deal pops off because there's a Netflix is wanting they're trying to build a big three brand over there. They're trying to have Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins on. No, I mean CM Punk and Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, all of them all on the same bracket. So
On Raw?
Yeah, they
yeah,
want they
they
want
they
Punk,
want
Roman,
Roman,
and
they
Cody.
want Roman, and they want CM Punk to
They want
be
the name
on their
game.
show.
They want the name game. Netflix doing the name game.
Yeah,
Oh
So if
shit!
they're gonna get them
either the
too.
draft Yeah, either the draft comes early or they work out a deal or something to have them pull up on that show too. So yeah,
So y'all
Netflix
y'all know
they
what this
they want the
means, right?
guns.
Y'all know what this means, right?
What's that?
This
So
would be the first time since the 2000s that SmackDown wouldn't have no top stars. So
Oh
they would
no,
have
they
to.
don't have a top star.
No. Listen to me. Yeah, they're gonna have top stars, but let me say this: the credible stars, the ones that bring seats to asses. I mean, asses to seats.
They're gonna have to send Seth Rollins to SmackDown. They're gonna have to send
Yep.
Drew McIntyre to SmackDown.
I
They're gonna
thought
have to.
Netflix wanted Seth Rollins.
No, they
I
want to CM Punk, Roman
they want
Reigns,
to see him
and Cody
Punk, Roman
Rhodes.
Reigns, and Cody Rhodes, bro. Seth ain't nowhere in that category as
Shane
far as
Okay,
Gunther.
Cody.
Shane
well.
Gunther.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're gonna
Gunther
they're gonna
not
have to
neither.
make a switch or something. They got to
Shane
send
Gunther,
Gunther
Drew
over there with the
McIntyre, and
World
Seth.
Heavyweight Championship.
Well,
But
yeah.
they
Well,
you gotta do it too, because you ain't sending Roman and Cody to Raw. So you just send it. You just basically swapping too, because Punk is already on Raw. So you sending
yeah.
Seth and Drew McIntyre or Seth and Gunther.
And another thing is, Raw is going to have all the stars. SmackDown is going to have all the technicians and workhorses.
Yeah. And see, that's what it was in the early 2000s.
That's what
You
it was
know,
like in that's what it was in like 2016, 2017, because a lot
yeah,
of the
like that too.
workhorses were on SmackDown and then stars were on Raw. Like it's like shit. I mean, what can you do at that point? You had maybe
Yeah.
one legendary future Hall of Famer like Orton was on SmackDown, but then
Yeah.
you had like everybody else on Raw. That's why Survivor Series was so lopsided sometimes.
hmm But I still,
Hmm.
me myself, I don't know if I'm just being biased. Y'all could tell me different. Around that time, SmackDown was hotter than Raw to me.
Oh, dude, it was
Oh,
like
who
that for
was?
a long time.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
Yeah.
like that for a long
oh yeah,
time.
oh
Like,
yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
could go
like
back to the
You're not being
ruthless
boring that much,
aggression
bro.
days. We can
You're
go
not
back to
being.
the
Yeah.
ruthless
Brock
aggression days.
Lesnar's
Paul
SmackDown was
Heyman was
way
a
better than
fighter,
Triple H's Raw.
right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Paul Heyman was
yeah.
a writer back then, and he was cooking Raw in the ratings
And he
with
was also making stars.
Eddie
Yep.
Guerrero, Edge,
Yeah, Rey
with
Mysterio,
Rey
like
Team
Mysterio.
Angle.
Team
Team A.
Angle.
Go.
Shelton Benjamin and then went to Raw and he became like incredible. But on SmackDown, he made his claim. You could we could talk about Tajiri. You could talk about Rhino.
Mm.
Like we got so and even some of like the women during that time. Like
Oh yeah.
it was a
Yes.
I always say this, and people may say I'm crazy. Ruthless Aggression era was better than the Attitude era as far as quality of matches.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can
yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
Quality
Yes.
match, yeah.
And they had the
yeah,
better
for sure,
WrestleManias too.
Had
They had the
star,
better
had a star
for
on
WrestleManias.
his
sure,
name.
for sure. Well, 17 falls under doesn't fall under ruthless aggression.
It falls under Attitude Era.
Attitude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ain't nothing topping 17, man.
Oh no.
Wait,
well, well,
wait.
no, I take that back. That we just witnessed one this past.
But
Not even
yeah.
that, bro. Not even that. Not even that. What about WrestleMania 19?
Oh yeah.
Woo. I
Don't
mean,
don't get me wrong. 18 was fire, but 19 was colder.
Brock Austin,
19 was
Kurt
pretty.
Angle, Brock
19 was.
Lesnar.
I enjoyed 19. 19 was pretty much a song for Stone Cold. But 17 had everybody in their feelings coming out of that pay per view. Niggas was pissed at what Stone Cold when Stone Cold sold his soul to Vince McMahon. There's a lot of people were sad, pissed, angry. It's like what the hell we just witnessed type of WrestleMania.
But at
And
the, but at the same time, 19 had just as much drama.
Yes.
If we're being completely honest, and that was a WrestleMania that featured the return of Shawn Michaels. Not
Yep.
only that,
yeah,
we got one of the best matches on the card that nobody even really talks about was Matt Hardy and Rey Mysterio
Yes.
going at it. And
Yes.
then if you think about it, like when we look at WrestleMania 19, it only had like what 9 or 10 matches compared to like the 12 or 15 WrestleMania 17 had. They cut the fat on WrestleMania 19. You still got Austin and The Rock at WrestleMania 19. This was Stone Cold's swan song, right? McMahon and Hogan was a passable match. Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, I'll put it up there as far
Oh yeah,
as
that was a
main
nice
event
match.
quality with Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. And think about it. There was a career-ending moment in that match that could have happened for Brock Lesnar. Like Brock could have died during that match. The only bad match on that pay-per-view was fucking Undertaker against Big Show and A-Train. That was the only bad match. The rest of the card, pretty fire, especially with Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho. That was a dream match that actually lived up to the hype.
Hype. Yes.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't argue people putting that one as the best one. I'm still gonna always lean towards 17, but 19 that 19 does have a strong case. Cause I just saw that match card on Facebook a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, that match, that whole entire card was good because at that time I didn't even know it was Stone Cold's last match, and it still gave me that feeling like, wait a minute, the way they're playing him up, the way JR is like running his story down, it felt like, wait, is this his last match?
And you know what? Want to know something funny? Remember when I said that The Rock had the best back-to-back WrestleMania win streak of all time? Bro, I just thought about this. He beat Hogan and Austin in the same year.
Same year. Yep.
No Way Out 2003.
Oh,
Rock versus Hogan 2, which is ironic because that's the same pay-per-view that Stone Cold Steve Austin returned at. And then the following WrestleMania 19, Rock beats Stone Cold Steve Austin definitively.
Yeah.
So if you want to put Rock, if people want to put Rock in the GOAT category based on his resume, he's up there too. So
he definitely is.
Yeah. I give you that. I give you that. So that pretty much concludes the crown jewel portion of this. It bled over to Monday Night Raw. The bloodline business still isn't over yet. Sami Zayn's loyalty towards Roman Reigns and the bloodline is being questioned by Jimmy because Jimmy still doesn't really trust him. So Sami Zayn's pretty much like, you're questioning me? Who's the one that cost Jay not one but 2 championship matches? When me and the Tribal Chief had an issue, you kicked me in the face. When Jay wanted to lead the bloodline, you kicked him in the face. So if anyone should be untrustworthy, it should be you. So pretty much Sami Zayn is like, I'm not going through this BS. Jay, you my dog, but this ain't happening. So he leaves. So when Sami leaves, this is where my brain started running. I'm like, well, Sami doesn't want to deal with Jimmy. He doesn't care about Roman. And he's pretty much telling Jay, I'm not doing this. I said it before at the top of the show. It's going to take a certain wise man to. This is the part where you add in Paul Heyman between now and Survivor Series to try to bring this together. Because if you remember at Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame, Roman Reigns said it himself, if there's no wise man, there's no tribal chief. And ever since he's lost the championship and Paul Heyman's been gone, Roman Reigns doesn't really seem like himself. Like every time he makes his entrance to the ring, he looks over to his left. There's nobody there, and it fucks with him. So for Survivor Series to go off without a hitch, Paul Heyman needs to be back. So I'm assuming between now and the next couple of weeks, we should see Paul Heyman, whether it's the last go home show of Survivor Series or at Survivor Series. We need to see the wise man back because it's been so long. And to Nessa's point, there was a video clip of Jimmy and Jay leaving Saudi on Monday Night Raw, and they're pretty much arguing. And it's like, he's not feeling Lucy. Are you feeling Lucy? Jimmy's like, is your ass feeling Lucy? So they had their little back and forth drama. So I found that pretty cool. Cash, what do you think? You think are we going to see the wise man show up anytime soon, or are they going to make this actually work without Paul Heyman's involvement?
They're going to have to. They're going to wait for it. You know, Paul again. Like I said, he is the glue that kept the bloodline together. We got to point out something incredibly ironic. Take a second before I say this. When the bloodline had Sami Zayn in it, it was Sami and Jimmy who were glued together, with the outsider being Jey Uso. And ironically now, it's Sami and Jay glued together with the outsider being Jimmy Uso. So Sami and Jimmy, Sami and Jay, Sami and Jimmy the first time, not Sami and Jay this time. And now Jimmy is in the same spot that his brother was in, because he's looking at Sami like, you really a op. And not just an op as in an opponent, you're an opportunist, because you had the opportunity to join the bloodline for your benefit. And then you took the opportunity to drive a wedge between me and my brother. You had the opportunity to take away our tag team titles, and that's what you did once you got the opportunity. The biggest op in the bloodline has been Sami Zayn. Even when he was taking bullets, what was his end game? What was Sami Zayn really in the bloodline for? Because it was a family? So you mean to tell me you leave Kevin Owens behind to join these people that you've been at war with for a while, and now all of a sudden you're part of the family? It was great entertainment. But in reality, when you think about it, he shouldn't even be involved. This is Samoan Tongan business, and you were outsider. You had your chance. You already betrayed Roman. Once you turned your back on your adopted family, you shouldn't be go back to the foster home, bro. Go back to your real family.
Right.
Go back to Kevin Owens. That's your family. That's your family. You were always trying to align with the bloodline and drive a wedge. This has nothing to do with you, because I don't remember Solo or anybody in the bloodline costing you a championship opportunity this year. You had your Intercontinental Championship. You won it, right? You beat Gunther 1, 2, 3. Then you lost it to Braun Breaker. I was there, Sammy. I saw it. I was there live. I was in the crowd. You squashed in 5 minutes. And Sammy is now inserting himself into this And once Paul Heyman comes back in the fold, Paul's probably going to be like, listen, Sammy, I love you. But stay the fuck out of this. This ain't got nothing to do with you. This shit bigger than Nino Brown. This ain't got nothing to do with you. You are an outsider. Once you have insider information and you're an outsider. This has nothing to do with you. And Solo and the new bloodline are giving him a way out. I'm assuming you don't have to be involved in this. It's going to get ugly. Get away. So if Sammy wants to still be involved, he's going to be forcibly removed from the bloodline, whether it be by The Rock, whether it be by Kevin Owens, or whether it be by the tribal chief Roman Reigns himself. Somebody's eventually going to be like, you know what? I'm sick of seeing you. It's time to get rid of you. And I think Paul Heyman, when he comes back, he's going to be torn between who he should follow: the High Chief, The Rock, or the tribal chief Roman Reigns.
Oh, he's gonna follow Roman Reigns. He's probably gonna be forced to follow the High Chief, but his loyalty will be to his tribal chief. That I can tell you for sure. John,
but do you remember? But do you remember, before I go? But do you remember when The Rock and Roman were walking, and Paul Heyman was like 3 to 4 steps behind, and he didn't really know who to walk behind because he wasn't sure of who to follow? Like his loyalty might be questioned because remember, The Rock has a lot of leadership, and The Rock is basically the reason why this family even really took off, because with his father and grandfather and him being the first third generation superstar, he kind of has that claim to, hey, I transitioned all of this. And I think that's what, and you're absolutely right. So I'm not disagreeing with your point. I think back to like Paul walking behind both of them, not knowing whose leadership to really follow because they're both threats to each other. Sorry, John, go ahead. I'm about that, bro.
You're good. Is it Friday yet? Is it Friday yet? We need to get to Friday.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Yeah, man, for sure.
Get to Friday, because that's the only way we're gonna get this resolved. Because Jay's always because Jay's torn, just like near the end of the Sammy Uso run, where he started obviously having a change of heart about Sammy. And he stood up for Sammy in tribal court. Now he's sticking up for Sammy again with OTC. So what I'm saying is Friday night's gonna be very interesting when they get in Buffalo and Roman and Sammy are in the ring face to face, because the only thing we got Roman has in that image is he took a boot to the face from Sami Zayn. And he's sitting there on the ring looking like Cody and Cena at WrestleMania, as Sammy is walking back up the ramp with that as right above Roman's shoulder. Roman's starting to look vulnerable, but he's gonna but that edge is gonna be there, where he needs to know, who are you? Are you with us, or are you with them? And Friday night, we'll find out, because I think this is going to set up everything. This is going to start setting up what we see in War Games.
Jay, what you got? What you think, man?
I'm gonna just go ahead and be straightforward with it. It ain't none of Sammy business, but I get why. Now, if you want to take this back all the way to FCW before it was NXT, who were the Usos teaming with? Sami Zayn.
Sammy.
So it goes deeper than that. For you to say you ain't family, I beg to differ. We was traveling the roads together. We was going to shows together. We was in the car together for X amount of hours. So that time, that's just like a cop. When you get your partner and you ride around every day for X amount of hours, 12 hours or whatever, you got no other choice but to become family and friends with this partner. So it is Sammy business. Even though in the beginning Jay didn't like Sammy, Jay didn't trust Sammy, but that's because he was brainwashed by who? Roman Reigns. You know, Jimmy was like he was with it. Now, if you take it back to the betrayal, like he said, it was you kick Roman in the face. That was your choice. You got tired of Roman. It was you that kicked your brother in the face and took his WWE championship opportunity away from him. It was you that kicked your brother in the face that cost him the tag team titles with Cody Rhodes. Wasn't me. Y'all kind of forced me out. I did nothing but take blows for y'all. I did nothing but try to help y'all. When Roman was on y'all ass, who tried to take that off of y'all? Me. And I did it because I know I'm not blood, but I'm family. So I beg to differ when it says it's really not none of his business. It kind of is. And I respect him for saying I came out there for Jay. Not nobody else, but for Jay. That means he's loyal to Jay. And that made Jay realize, you got my back more than these motherfuckers that I can't trust, that so-called family. Yeah, blood thicker than water, but who the ones that hurt you the most? Your family.
Yeah.
So, honestly, we all know Sammy's going to wind up getting took out of the equation some type of way. But it's the right move for them to do because there is that much history there. And they always talk about their history. They don't never forget. Never forget. Like you said, Triple H is a historian. He's going to play on the fact that fans have memories like elephants. They don't forget.
Yeah.
And it fire promo. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was a fire promo between all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Speaking of loyalty, that was the theme of the next segment between Liv Morgan, Raquel, and the tag team champions Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill. Liv was pretty much saying what we all knew from the get-go, that the only reason they haven't torn each other to bits is because they're tag team champions. So she pretty much stirred the pot by saying that Bianca fancied herself as being the roughest and toughest, the strongest, and blah, blah, blah. But also she states that, your partner, Jay Cargill, feels the same way. And she does. Because we're never going to forget that face off at the Royal Rumble when they both was bench pressing somebody and see who was the strongest at that point. So now they're starting to plant that seed. Well, Liv is starting to plant the seed that we already planted ourselves, that eventually they're going to lose those tag team titles. And the moment they do, they're going to start putting the blame game on who it is. And I can see Liv Morgan being, Liv 2 belts. She can wind up being the tag team champions with Raquel Rodriguez. And if that's the case, I think Bianca Belair should take that pin whenever they lose those titles. Because now Jay can look at Bianca and be like, you're the weak link out of this team. Which is gonna rub Bianca the wrong way.
I'm getting off of the queen of the Liv Morgan fan club. Oh God.
Hey, what's wrong with Liv Morgan? Ain't nothing wrong with Liv.
You ain't gotta tell me twice. You ain't gotta tell me twice.
Technically, she's not Liv 3 belts. She's 2 belts. Should be 2 belts in a ring. So
True that.
But
I think she's talking about if she gets the tag team championships.
Well, yeah, that's true. That's true. But it's coming. This split is coming. I don't know when it's gonna happen. It might. Maybe it'll happen at Survivor Series. Maybe if they're in the War Games match, Bianca is the one that takes the pin in that match. To start spreading those seeds. So either they're gonna walk into War Games as tag team champions, or between now and then they lose those titles to Liv and Raquel. Because right now, Liv ain't got nothing to do right now. Because I'm assuming her next opponent will probably be, eventually it's gonna be Rhea Ripley. But I think they're gonna have a battle royal or a tournament to determine. Isn't it Lyra Valkyria, right?
No,
Io.
it's Io Sky.
Feels
It
good.
came down to
Sky.
Lyra. It came down to Io and Lyra, and Io eliminated Lyra.
Right. So, which is going to be interesting to see how Io and Liv match up, which obviously Io's not going to win. So they're pretty much just stalling until Rhea Ripley gets back. So that was a good segment. And
Slap
it
the shit
led
out
to
of her.
one of John's favorite quotes from Dave Chappelle. She pretty much asked Liv Morgan what did a 5-figure say to the face, and decked the shit out of her.
She slapped the earth, wind, and fire
to
out
the
of her.
smack that I think she really did have a bruise on her face. So they're gonna run that match. I don't know when that's gonna happen. It's probably gonna happen sooner rather than later. So that's gonna be a fun match. And with Dominic Mysterio lurking around, I can easily see Raquel and Liv winning the tag team titles. From Jade and Bianca. What you think, Cash? Are we seeing new champions, or are they just gonna prolong the inevitable to maybe the Royal Rumble?
They could prolong the inevitable to the Royal Rumble. I have so many different ways that you could break up Jade and Bianca, but we're missing the main ingredient. The thing is that with Liv and Raquel winning, there could be idea of a split. But if Jade and Bianca are going to split, I think honestly they should lose the tag team championships to not Liv or Raquel, not Lash Legend or Jakara Jackson. I have a better one. Please let me cook on this. I think that if they're going to split up, they should lose those tag team championships to a team of Naomi and Bailey.
Ooh.
The reason why is because this kind of breaks up the big three, because with Naomi aligning with who Bianca Belair hates the absolute most, Bailey, that's going to cause Bianca to crash out and be like, why the fuck are you aligning with her with everything that she did to me and the shit that she had you in last year? Why are you dealing with her? Leave her alone. And if they lose and Bianca sees that and Jade is trying to talk to her, Bailey is her trigger point. That's her point of trigger.
Which it has happened in the past, yes.
Which it has happened in the past, and all she'll think about is Bailey, damage control, Bailey being responsible for why Io cashed in on her later down the line. And then guess what Bianca's going to do? We get a Bianca Belair heel turn. If you're going to do a Bianca Belair heel turn, that's the way it needs to be done. And she doesn't need to just attack Jade. She needs to attack Jade, Naomi, Bailey. She needs to put Bailey through a Spanish announce table. She needs to bring out the steel steps, KOD Naomi, and then KOD Jade Cargill right after that. And then, you know what else that she needs to do? I'll even go further. Bianca Belair goes under the ring, grabs a pair of scissors, and cuts a piece of Jade Cargill's hair, cuts a piece of Naomi, piece of Bailey's hair.
You trying to set this woman up for a homicide? I see what you
doing.
I see what you're doing.
Go full heel. Do the same thing that she did to Becky Lynch. Cut their fucking hair off. Take it off.
Yeah, I can see that, like Bailey being that final nail in Bianca's coffin with those two, because once Bianca starts seeing Naomi team with Bailey for the tag team titles, it is gonna drive Bianca crazy, and Jade's gonna be like, "Damn, not this shit again." Like I thought we moved past this and blah blah blah. And then the infatuation of Bailey is gonna get the best of her, and she winds up losing. And Jay's gonna be like, "This is your fault," which bleeds into what I was saying of calling Bianca the weakest link because she was too weak-minded, focusing on Bailey and not focusing on the task at hand, which cost them the championship titles. So, which again, I don't know when that's gonna. I would say that probably would if they're gonna do that, I would do that in December as Saturday Night Main Event. Have Bianca and Jay run through War Games as tag team champions, get through Raquel and Liv, and then do you have some type of number one contendership where, like you said, Bailey and Naomi team up because they honestly ain't really doing anything. Naomi's gonna lose to Nia because let's face it, Nia's not losing to probably Mania season or whenever Stratton cashes in because Tiffany Stratton will become WWE Women's Champion. And then they go from there. But in the meantime, in between time, you have Naomi teaming up with her actual best friend that she's known for many, 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 many years before Bianca even showed up. And Bianca's pride will get in the way, and Jay's patience is going to wear thin. And this is where, or we can still get that Jade turn because let's face it, Jade, AEW Jade was money. With the better tutelage, she would have been way better than what it was. But she's money, so I can see either one of them flipping on each other.
Yep.
But
They
to
both
really, yeah, but to really set the world on fire, you flip Bianca Belair and have Jade as that superwoman going to WrestleMania to take down this this new Bianca that we haven't seen since NXT days of old. So that's gonna set up that match there. So yeah, I can see that.
I mean,
I
Liv
can see
woke up.
Bailey and Naomi being the ones to drop that wedge.
And before we move on, John, you gotta admit, Liv kind of brought NXT Bianca right out of the fucking grave, bro.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
That slap had NXT Bianca written all over it.
Oh yeah, she poked the bear. Thank God. That's probably what Bianca wanted to do to Sam Roberts that day, but she poked the bear. She poked the bear, and I'm like, okay. And then she's like, okay, you're gonna take the wrong word, and she said it, and boom, she straight went Rick James on her. I was like, man,
she slapped the shit out you.
Yeah, in there just left a handprint on her face.
Leave these black women alone, man. These white tees gonna learn, man.
She almost turned into an Instagram bio, like.
She hasn't already. Oh man, Jay, what you think, man? I mean, she slapped the taste out that Barbie doll.
Man, did she slap the taste out of her damn mouth? Woo! I could have sworn I seen spit, gum, and everything, sweat, everything else come on. You know, I'm watching it in 4K. But but just far as that, yeah, some seeds might have been planted for a split coming soon, but I don't think it's really coming that soon. I think they're gonna spearhead war games for sure, like we talked about before, and this is also a way that you can put Rhea Ripley in it, being on their team, if she's cleared to come back around that time. And far as the heel turn, I think the heel turn should definitely be Bianca Belair. And Cash, man, you hit it on the door now. Bailey is this woman's kryptonite. Gets on her damn nerves. So I can definitely see that happening. I mean, that was something I was juggling in my mind as well. But I was just trying to see how they was gonna go about it, because they've already had like this tournament for the women's tag titles. I mean, wash, rinse, repeat, do it again. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And they becoming the winners. But Bianca, and I'm gonna use what you used earlier in the show for my anime and superhero comic book people. I always wonder what it'd be like if Power Girl and Wonder Woman go at it, and that's
Mm.
exactly what you got. You know, and Jade, by the fact that she was such a beautiful heel, and I kick myself in the butt every single time for being so stubborn, not watching AEW and being a loyalist to WWE. I did not get to watch most of Jade's heel, her heel work in AEW. But what I seen was phenomenal.
She
You
was that
know,
bitch.
she was phenomenal. So with that being said, I would love to see her as a single face if she could be just as phenomenal. And that's the whole reason why these two were put together. It wasn't Triple H being like, okay, I think y'all should work together. It was Bianca Belair. She wanted to, she wanted to groom her next opponent, her next major rivalry. And who better to do it with than Jay? You know,
Yeah.
besides Lash Lesson, there's nobody else that can
That,
really match her strength.
that plus Jay coming in was still green. She didn't
Yeah,
spend that
that's
much time in the PC because the illness with her mom and all that stuff. So her time was more on family than in the PC. So she was a little bit behind, and they really want to take their time with her and make sure she learns the ropes. She knows how to do promos. She knows how to do this, and who better to learn from than being on the road with Bianca Belair. So they'd be like her big little sister, so to speak.
yeah.
And when that time is right, and it will be at the end of the year, or like we all pretty much me and Cash agreed on, it's gonna be at the Royal Rumble where that when they lose the tag team titles, it's gonna start there, and then when it gets to the Royal Rumble, one of those two is gonna eliminate the other, and that's
Mm-hmm.
really gonna be like, oh, that's how you feel, and then Elimination Chamber, they might screw one of the other out of the Elimination Chamber match. We've seen people show up in the Chamber match and screw people. We've seen AJ
Yeah.
Styles do it. We've seen Shawn Michaels do it. So it's
Hell, we seen
possible
Austin
for
Theory, who had no even correlation with the
yeah,
match, come through and screw.
yeah. So who's to say Bianca or Jay gonna come in there and take one or the other out of that match? So I
Mm-hmm.
I, I I see that happening big time
And let me add
indeed.
this too to it. I don't know if y'all paid attention to each one of their matches. I don't know if it's by design or if they still feel Jade isn't ready. But Bianca put most of the work in before she even tagged Jade in. Jade gets the last couple of minutes before they get ready to pin.
And
They could
Jay can
use
go.
that. They could use that as a
You,
promo. Like
Exactly.
you
you've
treat
been
me on the
holding me back this
outside.
entire time. You've been
Yeah.
holding me back.
Uh
You've been
huh.
holding me back. Yep.
And Bianca, she loves the spotlight. She loves the limelight. She loves
Oh
being in the
yeah.
mix. She loves to be the EST. So like this would
And
be Jay could be standing like, damn bitch, like this whole time I couldn't get my shine in, and yet you still worrying about Bailey.
mhm.
Yeah.
So
And this could be
John,
a
what
way
you
to
think?
bring Montez forward there.
Yeah. With his
Yeah.
frustration, which should cause
Yep.
her to feel frustrated, saying this company's trying to take my husband away from me. Like
Yep.
you're not giving my husband opportunities. We're just gonna start taking them ourselves. And they become a
Yep.
power
Yeah.
couple for real.
Yeah.
And then Jade
Wish
and
we could have gotten
Angelo
to
could
her
tag
business,
against
but
them. Shoo.
we could leave Angelo in the dust. But anyway, uh, John, what you think, man? What you think? What you think?
Monday night, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, answer the call. Answer the call. They done put the challenge out there, and you kind of made them. I mean, I get what they were doing. Obviously, you weren't gonna have one of them probably challenge Liv Morgan, but then obviously you poked the bear again First of all, Raquel's gonna get a receipt because she broke the number one rule. Anybody who's ever tried to pull on Bianca Belair's ponytail has always got that. It's got a lash across their chest, and I guarantee she'll see one or two come Monday night. And as far as with Jade, this would be a chance for her to actually display her power. Look, it's like this. You know, they're saying is there's there's three of these in here. Two of them are the same, and one of them is not. You got three powerhouses and Liv Morgan in the match, and we're going to get that exchange with with Raquel and Jade Cargill, who obviously a lot of people, you think about where Jade was, you think about where Raquel was when she first came into the PC, and now look where she is now. They're going to have a straight battle of strength. I think Jade gets the upper hand, but Monday night should be a doozy of a match, but I'm going to give it, but the champ's still going to retain.
Yeah, they're going to retain.
Looks like, I don't know if this is breaking news to y'all, but it looks like NXT just signed another international star from Japan.
I've seen it that they're doing
Yoshiki Anamaru arrived at the PC
from Noah Wrestling.
Yeah. So they're signing these. They're bringing in people, man.
And remember, Sunday they're going to announce the first signing of the WWID program. So,
I mean, I hope so, but
he don't want hitting at it.
Yeah, I mean, if they do sign Zilla, if his name does drop, I know it's not gonna be anytime soon, but eventually, we gotta see him and Solo go one for Pops, because it's like you stealing my Pops moves, man. I ain't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? Like you trying to be like my dad, and nobody stunts like my dad but me. Right. Yeah, and that's so the NXT is stacked just like it was way back when the Black and Gold era was running supreme under Triple H. It's the women's division is hella stacked. They need more men.
That's women's
division because Ethan Page is not the guy. But after Trick, they're gonna need to start building these guys up. They need more people to sign. So pretty much nothing big else happened on Raw except for the Fatal 4-Way. Seth Rollins, Sheamus, Damian Priest, and Dom.
Like I said, did battle. Three of these look. You got three of these who look. Four of these here, and three look the same. Who was it? It's Liv and Dom.
Yep.
All goes back to Liv and Dom. You heard me, Nessa? It all goes back to Liv and Dom.
That's hate. That's hate. That sounds like hate over there.
She knows. She knows all in the jokes.
Yeah.
Hey, I told her this is one podcast.
And speaking of
the mullets, I'm sorry.
Speaking of jokes, Dominic Mysterio was like the joke of the night because every time he talking about the main event, like, man, he got three of the world class athletes and Dom. So it's like, because I'm like, why is this nigga even in this match, man? Like, they could have made this the triple threat. They even had the guts, the nerve to make it seem like this dude was gonna win the match in the end. When Bronson Reed pretty much pulled the Terminator, Mike Myers, Jason Voorhees, whatever you want to call it, and was like, yeah, me and you ain't done, big boy. Puts him through a table, smashes everybody else in that match, except for Dom, because Dom was the smartest nigga in that match and was hiding on the other side of the ring. So when Sheamus was down, he hits him with the frog splash. I'm like, it's not gonna give us Gunther versus Dom. Sheamus kicks out. Dom goes for another frog splash. Damian Priest pulls up, and a nice sequence hits the south of heaven without Dominic even touching the ground. And you mean Ray? Yeah, Grace Mysterio.
Ray.
So
Yeah.
hits him with the South of Heaven. So now we're gonna get that rematch from SummerSlam. Damian Priest and Gunther. I'm excited for this match. I don't know when it's gonna happen. It might happen at Survivor Series. If they're not on any teams, if they are on teams, it's probably gonna be December. But I see this happening either at Survivor Series or maybe the Monday Night Raw before Survivor Series. So sometimes they do put on championship matches before the pay per view, just in case it doesn't meet the PLEs. Because usually with the Bloodline and then the Rhea thing, I'm pretty sure it's gonna take bulk of the pay per view. So I'm excited for this match. What do you think, Cash? What are you looking forward between Damian Priest getting this rematch?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm like he's ready to basically show that he's not just a one-trick pony. I think that with having him in that match, it gives Gunther something to do, gives Damian something to do. It's just a borderline. It's just going to be a borderline 3.5, 4-star match. Could be better. Just the whole turnaround is just making sure that Gunther has his hands full for Survivor Series and prepping him for Royal Rumble going into WrestleMania. I will say I appreciate being on here. I do have to go because I got to be at work in about 6 hours, so I got to get some sleep.
Oh yeah,
it's like 1 o'clock.
yeah. We went over the overtime, so we have to go over that theory. For sure, whatever the news you were gonna break on the after party, we definitely gotta.
Yeah, you guys.
We definitely.
Yeah, so damn, I don't know if I want to say it. How many viewers do you have right now live?
About 2.
Okay. So a friend of mine who stays on the East Coast had basically one of the people you were talking about and his wife who wrestles in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they're coming back. He's coming back. He's also bringing somebody with him.
Oh,
yes.
my.
Yes, that's it. Yep. John, didn't I?
Yeah, that's
John,
about right.
John, didn't I?
The person is, you know.
So without saying who it is, you already talked about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Me and
basically,
I've yeah.
Basically, his last name is
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it'll be this color and coming over to WWE.
Ooh, boy.
Yes.
Now here's the thing. The reason why is because of a certain individual that was just at AEW that returned at Survivor Series. Once that happened, it was straight from the horse's mouth. He said once that happened, he was done. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Are you serious?
Damn.
The person that I'm talking about, my friend had these people in his house.
Damn.
They were in his house. He sent me text messages and pictures of them walking. They were there.
Yeah. I told John, like, them shows were not the same when that certain individual pulled back up in Survivor Series.
Yep.
Like,
we're not.
It was a split roster then, and the moment the dude pulled back up, it went downhill. So yeah, I was telling him, if that certain individual was to make a return and he brings the other individual with him under Triple H's banner, oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's definitely gonna be fire.
I forgot to include this part. It's not just those two. There's one other person who's coming as well, but once he gets out of his contract,
I
know who that is too.
Was that certain individual live in Philly?
All I'm gonna say is, listen to what I say. Keyword: he is absolutely going to come to WWE.
I know. Boom. I know that. And
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
perfectly.
He
That's
Yeah.
is
perfectly true.
absolutely going
Yes,
to come
yes,
Oh
to
yeah,
WWE.
he
yes,
was
he is.
definitely waiting. He's waiting. He was waiting for that to end because, like I said, he was spotted in Philly, and
Mm-hmm.
he was on an interview. He was like, "I'm just sitting here." So, so yeah, and he's definitely for sure going to be the focal point of Shawn Michaels' group
Yep.
for
Oh yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Like as soon as he gets in there, Ethan Page can go take a hike. He can travel. He can travel to Nashville, go hit up A&G and work for TNA because as soon as he get there, NXT is gonna be absolutely all right.
Get ready to learn
So
Joe
yeah,
Hendry's theme song, buddy.
yeah, because man, like Triple H's house is will always win in the end.
Oh yeah.
And I'll leave it at that.
That's a nice way
We
to look at
are
it.
at the 3 hour mark, so we got to get Cash out of here. Me and John got work as well, so we didn't get to catch up on NXT. Nothing really big there, just a nostalgia. The A team women's team won that match. Rhino made her appearance. RVD made an appearance. Bubba Ray got the biggest pop ever. It was a good feel good moment for NXT being in ECW arena. Nothing really big. It was mostly a nostalgia show. So we're gonna leave it at that. Before you go, Cash, we're gonna skip the intro, but what we have here is a segment we like to call "Calling Out Names." As John always puts it in every show, it's where we call out someone in the professional wrestling world that says something stupid, does something stupid that, or just you just want to call them out for whatever reason. Since you're ball for time, you have anybody you want to call out?
All right, let's get this done. Yo, I have something I have to say. The fact that you are still breathing in this world offends me, Hulk Hogan. The fact that you still draw breath and that you still continuously say things that make your demeanor a decrepit fucking piece of horse shit that you decided to align yourself with politically and put yourself in a position of power. You have no power. You are a washed up has-been that built your character off of another man's gimmick. If Nature Boy Ric Flair stole his gimmick from Buddy Rogers, you still stole yours from superstar Billy Graham. You've always been a racist, lying, bigot piece of shit. I cannot stand the ground that you walk on. I wouldn't piss on you if you were on fire. And the fact is that you wrote lies in your book about who you met, saying that John Belushi, you partied with John Belushi in 1986. Yeah, he died in 1982. You said Elvis was a wrestling fan. Elvis didn't fucking know you, and he died by the time you fucking debuted. You've always been a liar. You've always been a manipulator. You've always tried to cut people's fucking balls off because you wanted to hog the spotlight. You are the sole reason why WrestleMania 9 is the worst WrestleMania of all time. You've given wrestling a black eye. You had the greatest heel turn of all time, but you also ran a $1 billion company into the ground with your creative control, your politicking, and everything that you spewed out of your ruptured fucking Floridian mouth. Your fucking verbal effluvia does not need to be tolerated. Your existence does not need to be tolerated anymore in the wrestling business. And you went political because that's the only way that you will garner attention, is when you say dumb, stupid, racial, bigotry things to garner attention. That's all you've been, is a shit magnet your entire fucking life. I wish nothing but the absolute worst for you. If you have plans this weekend, I hope they fall through. You displayed your true colors, and somehow WWE continuously lets you come back because you are the essence of what Vince McMahon is now. And now that he's gone, and now you will be erased from history, eventually you will have to die. And you will have to die knowing that only thing that you ever accomplished was cutting people off and stealing money and being nothing but a grabastic piece of Floridian shit. Fuck you, Terry Bollea, aka Hulk Hogan, and you don't deserve nothing but the absolute worst. Die a painful death.
Somebody call Nas, and we need that ether beat.
Wow.
Hey, call Queens. Yo, Nas. Hey, man. Hey, man. That
I ain't got nobody.
I got
Hey, that was fire.
I ain't got nothing to top that. So, Cash, we appreciate you. Thank you for pulling up. That is Cash from the Marks with Mike's family. Catch them every week, Tuesdays. I think you got a show going on Friday, right?
Well, with Humble Roses podcast on Tuesdays, Marks with Mike's on Thursdays. All of us are under Culture Clash Network, along with Powerbomb Jutsu, Society Pop Culture 101, and the Get Show podcast. You will see me back on this podcast with the Cali Boys. You will see me back on Sports4U Wrestling. I will be there. I will come to Cali. I will be everywhere on the West Coast. I am in Ohio right now. I am going to be everywhere. Get used to seeing this face. You will see me on every podcast out there. I am here to make friends, and I am here to make sure that these gentlemen that I am on the podcast with are going to be part of history. These guys are making history. They're doing great things. This was an awesome show. I was honored to be here. Thank you, Trell. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, John. I cannot wait to spend time with you guys again, talking about wrestling, which is wrestling is for niggas. Wrestling is for niggas.
Yes.
On that note.
Hey, I'm going to put that on a shirt. I'm going to give you a cut.
Yes.
Before we get here, John, you got any closing arguments, closing statement before we get up out of here? Because we hit overtime mode tonight.
We did good tonight. Thank you, Cash, Smoke. You already know what's up. Shout out to the comment section, Nessa, She, Bean, everybody who jumped in the comment section. Of course, Culture Clash. Friday, Sports4U, back on it. Friday, 6:45 Pacific. Tuesday, of course, our regular Tuesday spot. And then, as Trell will say, we'll be back here next Wednesday. We'll go back here next Wednesday because not the big tease. There's some business that needs to be discussed.
Yes,
and
we didn't get to that. We didn't get to that, but there's a syndicate that we need to go over because it finally arrived. So we're gonna go over that. I'm gonna make sure put that in there in the next episode. Probably the top of the order to make sure we get that out the way because we're owed that one. But on behalf of
that one.
Yep. On behalf of Jay, Cash, John, this has been episode 6 of Sports4U Wrestling. Appreciate y'all for hanging with us this late. We're gonna get up out of here and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
Night, y'all. Peace.
Night.